The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. He missed the complete. That is crazy
stuff. Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
"2016 saw the first ever GT World Championship put on by iRacing. This endurance-focused series brought together the fastest and most talented teams the service had to offer. And though this maiden season has ended and a champion has been crowned, we already look forward to 2017 as the qualifying races begin over the winter months. 25 teams desperately fight to keep their pro licenses, while hundreds of others with aspirations of glory try to get their foot in the door of top-level sim racing. Who will earn their black stripes? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 1 of the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series, and you'll see it all live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Bill Soup Zahn. Next to him is our own expert team strategist, Sean Crackers Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Bill, they certainly picked a doozy of a track for the first round. Tell us about the legendary halls of Monza.
North of Milan, Italy sits Autodromo Nazionale Monza, better known simply as Monza. It's the world's third oldest purpose-built motor racing track. 11 turns, but really only 5 direction changes, as 7 of those turn numbers are used to label the 3 chicanes that litter the circuit. 5.7 kilometers or 3.6 miles, or for those biblically inclined, just over 3,300 cubits of asphalt all the way around. Compared to other tracks, the pit lane is pretty darn convenient, both entering and exiting. The finish line is very close to Parabolica, the final corner, so if after 3 hours we have a dogfight, look for the late pass to be made between the final left-right-left Ascari chicane and Parabolica. But if a picture is worth 1,000 words, you can only imagine the value of a video. So with that said, let's take a lap around Monza.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown in the GSRC Z4, so let's do a lap around Monza. Coming down to the Retifilia chicane, it's a huge braking zone, and with the draft, this means it'll be a great passing opportunity. But you really want to get it done before you're into the corner, because it's extremely tight and too wide usually doesn't end well. Expect a huge traffic jam here on lap 1. From there, we enter the gentle Curva Grande, which will be flat out in these GT3 cars. Just minimize your steering input, and once again, if you're close, the draft will start to take effect. Once you're out of the corner, drift back to the right and line the car up to get ready for the Della Roggia chicane. If you overshoot it, it's going to be bad news because of the sleeping policeman speed bumps scattered all over the runoff. Likewise, if you exit a little too hot, there's a big old gravel trap ready to ruin your speed. Precision will pay off here. Then it's a short burst to the first Lesmo. There's a fair bit of camber here, but it's deceiving because it's a late apex corner and easy to come in too shallow. Then there's not much time before the second Lesmo. This one is a quick flick, but also a critical spot to nail the exit. It's followed by a long, flat-out stretch where the guy behind will be eager to outgun you. Just a slight bend to the left, a dip below the old oval, and we're getting ready for the Ascari chicane. This one is very different from the previous two in that it's quite a bit faster and has 3 apexes to worry about. Once again, there's large inside curbs that will punish you if you get too greedy. As you come off the end, make sure to use as much of the runoff as you can, since it's all considered inbounds and there's a fair ways until the Parabolica. This is another possible place to set up a pass. But in these modern cars, this isn't a terribly slow corner. You've got to make sure you own the apex so you don't get chopped off by your opponent. Besides, a more clever driver might be looking to focus on getting a good run out of the corner, since the front stretch is much longer and offers a more definitive place to overtake. Let the car drift off to the left on this super wide straightaway and wave to the Tifosi as you complete your lap around Monza. That should give you an idea of what it's like around this very fast and chicane-ridden track. Now, even though we said that this is the first round, there have been races run this weekend. That means there are points to talk about. Let's pull those up on the screen. iRacing Red leads with 321 points. PJ Sturgis, obviously a part of that team. iRacing Blue is only 6 points behind them, and Pure Racing Team Black only 9 points back from them as well. So very tight up at the top. VRS Coanda Sim Sport currently holds the 4th spot. They're 12 points back from Enex Red. And then Pure Racing Team Red, 15 back from them, back in 5th. Only the first round, only two races run. So obviously it's bound to be tight. We'll see how that plays out after today. This will be the last one of the weekend. Now, Sean, some people might not be familiar with how the Blancpain Endurance Series runs, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the race details?
Okay, Joe, let's get right to it. This is a GT3 class driven race, okay? So you've got the Audi, the R8, the BMW Z4, the tank. I love that car. The Ford GT, the McLaren MP4 12C. Great car, very fast, loves Monza, I will tell you that. The Mercedes AMG GT3 now. The problem with the McLarens, there may not be a lot of them here today. Maybe just have a couple in the field. We'll see here in just a moment. 3 hours today. This is a true endurance race. 2 drivers. That you have to have a minimum of 2 to get this done. Now, incident limits, that's getting a tire off or getting into somebody else. You don't want to do that. You rack up 25 of those and you're out. That means you cannot finish the race. So you have to watch out for those today. But this is going to be a lot of fun. Joe, love always returning to Monza.
Certainly going to provide some exciting racing. The drafting that this track offers allows for a lot of places to try and pass. And Bill, I have to imagine those passing zones are going to be a little bit obvious today.
Yeah, I like it into Parabolica. I think that's a good way to go. We talked about it from the last chicane. Also, after Parabolica, going into the first chicane, you might see a little bit down that straight going before you get to the Lesmos there. Tough to pass, but there are opportunities.
Definitely. And Sean, I'm going to be leaning on you a little bit this broadcast with you having been a crew chief of a team last year actually trying to qualify for the 2016 season. It seems like strategy plays a big part, which seems like a duh for endurance racing, but most sim racers might not be used to having to employ and think that far ahead.
Yeah, this has to be a collective effort, Joe. I don't think this is the type of series you get into just trying to run solo and have some fun. You've got to put a little work in, do a little math, come up with a strategy that fits the guys that you're driving with. To be honest, this race here, to make it a two-stopper, you've got to do more than just the normal things of, let's say, drafting and maybe lifting, backing up your corner entries a little bit. You've got to really think about the long game, fuel mapping available on these cars. There are a lot of different options you can play. You can map for a couple laps on map 1 and map 2. You could lap for a few more laps on that and try to find strategic ways to get to your number. But it's all about finding your number when you pit that puts you ahead of the rest of the guys in front of you. It's all about making up time, and you can do that with a great pit strategy.
Well, qualifying has now completed. Let's go through our grid. VRS Coanda SimSport number 81 will be on the pole. Curb Surfers, they're a top player usually. They're going to be on the outside of the front row. Chrono Sim Racers Driving Throne will start in 3rd, followed by Dark Contigo Racing Team in 4th. Gem Racing Yellow will be starting in 5th, followed by Team GTNF in 6th. MSP Drivers Home 1 will be starting the race in 7th, followed by Radicals Online Steel Series in 8th, Fox BR Motorsports in 9th, and Jim Racing Black in 10th. Bill?
Trident Racing and PND Racing make up row 6. Scuderia Leon Orange and BSR J Blanco Team Black make up the next row. Sim Ars Cordix Crimson in the 15th position. Dream Factory following them. Gecko Vortex Sim Racing Green in the 17th spot. Shinya Mishimi Sim Racing Yellow in the 18th position. Virtual Driver BGT 19th, and rounding out the top 20 from the Iberian Peninsula, Iberica Racing BenQ. Sean?
All right, then we're going to go ahead and get on to row 11. That's going to be Orion Race Team number 2. On the inside, Odox Motorsports. Odox Motorsports Samsung there in 22nd. iRacing Brazil going to be in row 12, the GT3 entry, and Motor Breath Endurance in 24th. Huskenveld Core Motorsports 25th. G-Tross SST Orange 26th. Vendaval Sim Racing White will start 27th. Glacier Racing BS number 3 28th. Team RSO BGT 2, and Radicals Online Pirates 30th.
31st, it's going to be Hellenic Racing, followed by Apex Racing TV in 32nd. Suderia Leon Black in 33rd, followed by Apex Racing Simulators in 34th. Euphoria Racing Green in 35th, and Era Logitech G, number 726, and in 36th. Era MPMS in 37th. Iberica Racing Custom Cockpits in 38th. Orion Racing Team, number 3 in 39th, and rounding out 40th, Trinity Motorsports Green. Bill?
Team RSO BGT and Vec Blancpain Racing make up the next row. SRB Sim Racing B, Alpine Eagle Racing. Behind them, SRB Racing A Team and Trinity Motorsports Blue. Behind them, Champ Racing, whatever they're on that guy. And then Bell and Enforced, they make up 47 and 48. 2 teams didn't qualify. Friction didn't put in a time. Friction Racing 9-11. And Kronos International Team 49 and 50. 50 cars on the grid, Sean.
Woo!
Big field, and I kind of don't blame those last 2 drivers for not qualifying. The first couple races have been a bit notorious in the top split for having a lot of trouble in turn 1. Now, if anybody is used to watching racing in Monza, that's to be expected. The first chicane, Retafilo, unfortunately, is very tight, with everybody coming up with heavy braking. It can be a bit of a mess sometimes. So let's see if these guys can sort it out as Michel de Jong and VOS Coana Simsport takes the green. We've already got 3 wide for second. Behind him, though, Vladimir Ozaratsovsky in the Curb Surfers is split in the middle. Who's that with him? It's Jean Deval and Chrono Sim Racing. And is that Yassine Baber behind him? It looks like he's going to make it 2 wide. A little bit of a checkup. 3 wide back into the chicane. Are they going to be able to make it?
It's a parking lot back at the chicane.
4 wide somewhere. There's 1 car off in the grass. Someone takes to the escape road. Oh, 1 car is turned around in the chicane. I'm trying to figure out who that is. Everybody else is managing to get around him. 1 runs into him.
Looks like it might have been one of the cars where Romeo Bier.
It's Vincenzo Amico gotten around also, the number 93 entry.
Emmanuel Petri of Gecko Vortex Sim Racing Green comes back around last. There you can see he is the one turned around. Everybody trying to get around him. 2 cars actually spun off into the side, into the gravel. They get turned around as well.
Honestly, better than I expected. I thought they did a pretty good job getting 50 cars through there.
At least they were slow taps, so we didn't see guys really having their entire race ruined, although definitely a severe setback. Meanwhile, second place, Jean Deval is still hassling Michel de Jong for that first place. He backs off a little bit through Ascari, and he gets some breathing room. Behind them, the Curb Surfers, Vladimir holding on to that 3rd place, and Jesus Cecilia and Dark Antigo holding on to 4th.
Well, Joe, as they get through Saraglio, everybody starting to fall in line now. These cars here at the back that spun around are back on track. Nobody so far is limping that badly, but the 93 at the back of the field right now. We got a couple cars still in the pit, the number 5 and the 75.
And battle for the lead. Mitchell is going to lose it as the draft gives an opportunity to Deval down into Retafilio. Breaks easily, and the swap is done without any loss of time.
Okay, Sean, let's see how they do the second time through here.
Mostly single file, it looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be a little nicer this time. Sean, even the cars that spun around, because this train is so long, they're really not that far behind. A little bit, somebody making a move back there.
RG Bargy from Hyrovia of GTROS SST Orange, but he makes it stick. Let's look at the replay of that one.
And honestly, that was about the only pass made that time through.
It was gutsy, and he traded a little bit of paint, but as we'll see, nobody spins around. I think this is a fair move. We've got a car a little bit slow. It looks like Thibaut Vernice coming out of the second chicane. De La Rogie is going to be on the outside into the first Lesmo. It looks like this is down for 25th. Oh, no, excuse me. That's behind him. Ricardo Friera, I think, may be losing positions. Yes, that's who it is. Radicals on lines. Pirates loses another one into the second Lesmo. So that bad exit coming out of De La Rogia has hurt him badly. He's going to lose another one, although he's on the defensive inside. That's Alex Zerny for Team RSO. Comes around the outside nice and smooth and takes it away. Moves himself up into 27th.
The the 37th place car right now, Fernando Garcia Perez, having trouble, big trouble. The number 19 had a slowdown penalty back in
He's 47th now, actually.
Yeah, he's falling quickly. He's lost a lot of spots, had a slowdown penalty, and now is off pace and dropping quickly.
Let's go back to the front. Mitchell de Jong has not taken the lead back. I'm not sure if he didn't get a good enough exit or if he's electing to just hold on to this second. And if this is the same Mitchell I'm thinking of, is this the Mitchell that runs in the Real World Rallycross series? That would be him. So showing his savvy that he's learned from running in Real World Racing, just kind of holding position right now. He's ahead of Ozeratovsky and at that third position for the Curb Surfers. Still a long way to go. We're only 5 minutes into this 3-hour race. We've seen a little bit of anxious moves, but compared to what we saw, or at least what I've seen in the replay of the top split of the first two races this weekend, that was relatively tame, Bill.
Yeah, and so far, and actually, the first chicane has been less busy than the second, and Ascari in the third chicane. I want to drop back to 33rd position right now to Ronald Verweesch. He's driving for Bell NL Force. He's up the most positions, currently up 13 spots. Started 48th, running 13th, on the move.
And actually, I'm seeing 33rd as Fabrice Cornelis currently. He was dropping in a position. I'm trying to see who you were looking at there. Vernice, Thibaut is actually up to 25th. So doing even better than you projected.
Just by the time I typed it in, he picked up spots there.
My goodness, Thibaut looking very nice out there. Up into the top 25.
Yeah, let's look in currently 33rd position. It would be for the one I was talking about is Bell NL Force. With Ronald Verweesch behind the wheel. No, it's not. It's, I guess, yeah, it's Canaris. Yeah, I'm not, my timing scoring isn't correct. Yeah,
meanwhile, I saw a position was lost for Sergi Lorenz in 6th. Yassine Maber moves himself into the top 5 for Team GTNF. And in fact, he's already put himself a gap on Sergi, who's under threat from Triton Racing's Marcin Skrizapak. Excuse me if I messed that one up. He's looking to the inside, down into De La Rogia. Doesn't quite stick his nose in, though.
Sean, as a crew chief that you're doing this with only 3 hours, I guess it's not as much time as you think when you're running back there. If you got the pace, you really have to push the whole time, wouldn't you think?
Well, you do want to push, yes, but these opening laps, right now, you're holding your breath right now, trying to avoid, you've got cars right on top of you and a lot of traffic. You're really trying to get settled into your program right now. You're really on the edge as a crew chief and as a team. Right now, you're just hanging on the edge. Hopefully here in about 2 laps, you get a chance to breathe. Then you can start to push and start racing.
Is there anything you can do from a crew chief perspective, Sean, to try and get these guys out of there? I know there's some talk about whether this is a 2-stopper or if you do a little splash and dash with a 3-stopper. Do you maybe try and play the race backwards and get clear air?
Well, certainly the clear air doesn't hurt, but at some point you're going to want to start to pick up some cars and start doing some drafting. Here you've got several good opportunities to do that on this track. I want to play the strategy of I don't want to finish with any fuel in the tank. Let's try and do this in 2 stops if we can.
Well, there was a couple strategies though they were talking about though. The other strategy was to run flat out the McLaren should have the advantage on this track, was to run flat out, get a lead, and then do a splash and go, even to make up for that extra stop. And I think that maybe what these front four guys might be thinking about doing right now is they are starting to gap the rest of the field.
Well, and they certainly seem to be working together as we see them on screen. Currently are Jon Duval, Mitchell de Jong, Vladimir Ozertsovsky, and Jesus Cecilia, your top four. In fact, that gap is over 3.5 seconds to fifth, Yassine Baber. Ooh, a little bit wide for Jon Duval, just getting a little bit of the gravel, not much of an error or causing any sort of drama. But he's using every inch of the track, trying to streak away from these guys. Mitchell not letting him do so at the moment.
2 McLarens, 2 Audis out in front.
So it seems like that call that McLaren's are going to be strong here coming true. Now, if you're wondering, though, they cannot change cars during these qualifiers. So these guys have picked the McLaren here. If they picked it just because it's strong, well, they're going to have to deal with the weaknesses that it may have at other tracks later on in the season. But right now, it's looking very handy. It could give them the advantage they need to get a good result now and maybe make up for it later with just getting decent finishes.
Now, Joe, just to kind of give the viewers an idea of what the gap right now is, just 5 laps into this race, you go first back to 46. It's 33.6 seconds.
Got a little bit of a battle for 8th and 9th here. Andrew Laurette behind Zach Thomas, and they've got another car getting in the mix. That's Boris Spolstra, coming down into Redafilia. Can he get 2 and 1? He's trying for it. Gets held up a little bit by traffic. He's going to have the outside of the second part of the chicane. Manages to come through. Can't quite get the second one done. In fact, now he's under threat with Andrew coming back at him in that Fox BR Motorsports Mercedes. Going to have to go the long way around to the curve at Granda, and unfortunately, that's not going to allow him to make the spot back. And just look at the train as we're riding on board. Actually, we can't see it from this angle from Andrew Laurette, but there is a lot of cars here into this section. Now we're looking back, and you can see just how many are behind these guys. If one of them makes a mistake, Bill, it's going to be costly.
Yeah, well, I think the train, though, is important. When we talked about that fuel strategy, again, I think a lot of these guys want to be in the tow, be lifting for the first couple hours, and save fuel and see if they can do it in a 2-stop. My guy, I hate to focus on one driver, but I'm telling you, there's a guy on the move. Again, now he's up to 30th position. Again, it's Bell NL Force, again, with Fabrice Cornelis in there. He's passed, he's gone through these guys.
We missed an incident a little bit earlier. We already have a casualty. Simon Povey of Apex Racing, unfortunately coming into Ascari, turned it around and then slapped it into the tire barrier. He has been sitting in the pits since then, trying to get repairs.
Guys falling back to 42nd place now. Team RSO, Alex Zerny, had trouble all the way back over in Della Roggia and spun it around and got back on pace, but lost a bunch of time and a bunch of spots, dropping through the field. Team RSO BGT2.
And that was a self-made error. There was nobody around him at the time. Turned around all on his own, and as you said, took a while to try and get the car turned around and back going forward, which he did. Thankfully, did not hit anything.
A lot of cars close together here at the back of the field, Joe. There is a lot of racing going on here for these positions back here. It's still very tight quarters. I'm still very nervous and not taking a breath yet if I'm a crew chief.
Significantly, a lot of these drivers, though, are losing time to our leaders. Currently, 5th is now 5 seconds back. I believe about a lap and a half ago, it was only 3. So our top 4 are really streaking away and giving themselves a comfortable gap to battle if they need to later on.
If fuel saving means anything, I don't think these 4 guys are doing this, so they may be thinking a 3-stopper.
You know what, and certainly when we were talking about it a little while ago, if you can do that, if you can get a jump on the field, separate yourself and start to put some good time The splash and dash is a real possibility.
So here comes the splash and dash right now. This is going to be a 3-stopper. This is the early splash and dash.
Ooh.
This is
what
my
I talked
dad
about
used to
earlier,
call
yeah.
the early peel rate reveal. We have to keep an eye on Kronos.
Jan Duvall comes into his stall, and he was high up at the start. Started third, so there you see he finds his pit stall way down the pit lane. Shouldn't be in here long, and I can't imagine he's going to take tires.
Sean,
yeah,
while I understand what's going on here, but now he's stuck in traffic. I mean, now...
Yeah. now you're stuck in traffic. Exactly.
Now he's
a
coming
whole
out,
heap of it.
He's actually coming out almost dead last. He's going to cycle out in 46th position. Well, now look what he's in the mix right here now.
Mm-hmm. The dragon is breathing in there in Redifilio.
I understand, but I question.
Well, it's you talk about that late reveal, though, Bill.
Yeah.
We really won't know until it gets to the end.
No, he will not be. He will not even be thought of until the last 4 or 5 minutes of the race. You know, that's.
And we probably won't be seeing pit stops from others until much later on.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what. There may be a few up there that decide. Wait a minute. Maybe that's a strategy I want to play. They may switch it up.
I don't know if they've got a crew chief watching this broadcast here, Sean, or just keeping an eye on them in general. I think they'll see that he's in traffic and they'll know that this is a pretty risky decision. As he's already making ground. He just passed Emmanuel Petri of Gecko Vortex Green.
Well, it's not like the leader, Sean, or eventually. I mean, everyone's going to be in traffic here pretty soon. So they're not going to be quite in the traffic he's in right now, but if you think you're faster, I mean, I guess if you think you're faster, get away from the guys that are riding your coattails.
Well, that put him 36 seconds off the leaders now, and he is steadily picking them off one at a time. Joe, how do we say, one ringy dingy, right? He pulled off about 3 of those already, and he's coming back up through the field. So we'll see how that works out. But the splash and dash early is not a bad idea.
Going to take some old school SNL fans to get that reference. But significantly, I'm looking at the gap between our top 3, used to be top 4, now top 3, and 4th place. And it's up to 6 seconds. So these guys are still gaining time. Now, I'm starting to wonder, though, Sean, is Yacine Babert pulling this train along behind him, or is he holding them up? Because it's starting to look a little bit backed up.
It's definitely backed up. I don't know, Joe. That's an interesting point. Right now, I don't know if you're holding anybody up. I think they may just be following and trying to start to conserve a little bit of fuel early here.
That's a fair point as well, that these guys could be using this strategically. They might not even be concerned about being stuck behind Yacine Babert. He's now been promoted to 4th, now that Duvall has pitted for his team.
I want to give you another car that is on the move. Currently 24th position. Vec Blancpain Racing Team. Jose Maria Lopez in it right now. He is up. That team qualified in 42nd position. They're up to 25. And now he is leading the train. He's pulling the guys along. He's got a ways to go to get up to 23rd, but that car is on the move. And the cars behind him are happy to be behind him.
Cars behind him are Ricardo Ferreira, Zachary Handlin, and Alex Arana. These guys, as you said, just kind of sitting in line. Now, is Handlin? Doesn't Zachary Handlin run in the IDA series?
The IDA series, yes. Yes, that's an Australian driver. iRacing Driver Association runs both Formula Renault down there and the GT3 series.
And boy, Handlin's got to be up at a very late hour to be running this one.
Guys, we got a battle going on back here for 6th place. Zach Thomas is in 7th right now, giving a whole lot of trouble to Marcin Skizarik. I'm sorry about that. almost got into him here back up the track just a bit and was pressing really hard. Had to get on the binders. It caused trouble just behind him. Boris Spolstra did a really, really good job of avoiding an incident there.
These guys got a little bit of a gap between themselves at the moment, so they're not directly attacking, but once they get out of the long draft of the front stretch, that could change. Let's keep an eye on this battle. As you said, leading the train, or as I've said actually many times, Beber still up at the front. Is anybody going to do anything? Everyone's getting a nice big tow. Sergio Lorenz starting to close in, but he lifts. He definitely seems to be saving fuel behind him. Marcin also looking to lift, not threatening. Everybody just staying in line. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear at this point. A number of drivers playing the strategy game, a little bit of side-by-side behind them. Looks like that is a Jacobo Lopez going around the outside of Ricardo Silva. Nice move. Looking at the replay here, he gets the inside down into the first half of the chicane, but he can't quite get it done. And he has to hold on and chop him off. Doesn't quite chop him off. He actually gives him space. Fair racing to Koba. We've seen him race on this channel a number of times, and he is not a driver that I would feel like I could try and hold off. He has got some speed.
Okay, here's the theory on the 321 Kronos that came in early with John DeValle in it. Maybe, and this is from social media, maybe he forgot to put in his race setup.
That's an interesting point. We've seen that before in iRacing in all manner of series. Boy, that is an embarrassing mistake to make at this top level where you're trying to prove yourself. Though, hopefully that's not the case. I'm hoping this is a legitimate strategy call.
We'll watch him and we'll see how it plays out. Honestly, Sean, I just don't think I would do it quite so early. I don't think I would do that early pit till I was out of clean air and got around to starting to pick up the back markers. But we'll see how it plays out. Currently running still stuck back there in 42nd.
Well,
you've got Sean speechless.
Right. See, our leaders now, there's the three of them. They really... The competitiveness of this field from top to bottom is really impressive because you would think by now, after racing here for, it's about 20 minutes, I guess, that they'd be coming up on lap traffic, and they still haven't. So with a 50-car field, we're used to seeing that kind of stuff.
The thing that impresses me more is that we're on lap 12, and there's that 8-second gap between the top three and Beber. Like you said, this is a high strength of field. This is incredible talent. That says something about these top guys.
I think it says more to fuel strategy than it does to anything else. I can't believe these guys are that much faster. Yeah, I think these guys are just running. They're running as fast as they can, and they're going to do a third stop. The rest of these guys are going to try to do it in 2.
Meanwhile, on screen, you see Zach Thomas getting swamped by the field. It was Andrew Lauret and Boris Spolstra who got by him. And in fact, it looks like Lauret might be sizing up Boris, but he's not close enough to make an attack down into Ascari. Just stays in line. Let's see if he can get himself a good run out of this final chicane down to the Parabolica. Looks like they are about dead even. So nothing doing into the final turn for these two. Just ahead of them, Triton Racing and Jim Racing Yellow pretty close to one another. But these are the two that we've seen that have been lifting on that front stretch. Don't anticipate that to change at this point. We've seen no reason for them to alter the strategy, and indeed, it looks like Marcin with the Triton car does get off that loud pedal towards the end of the straight. It is just, I can't believe, whoa, we got a spinner. He got some help. That is Ricardo Silva in 17th now. Who did he get hit by here? That was down into the first chicane. Everybody was stacking up, but it looks like Andre Bocher down into the braking, coming up to that Audi, tries to stay out of him. Unfortunately, he checked up a little bit more than he anticipated, tips him around, Manages to keep going without hitting the wall, thankfully. But he's lost touch with that front pack, or second pack, I should say. And now he is leading the third pack, just ahead of Hyrovia.
Maybe one of these laps we can get an overhead shot at the accordion effect, the concertina effect of some of these cars. Like if you look back at 37th position right now, there's a train back here. When they come into a chicane, they bunch up like they are parallel parking. It's really incredible. There's a train right now from 37th back to, about 44th. Running nose to tail.
That's what we're watching right now. Rocky Garcia currently leading that group down into Ascari.
As they come in here, they just all bunch up. Especially not so much here in Ascari, but on that first chicane. Some great racing going on.
Very
guys in the back, Sean, are very patient.
Yeah, well, you have to be patient. This is a long race. You don't want to crack up the car here early if you want a chance to fight here at the end for good positions. You know, I keep thinking it back to the theory that we've got going here that maybe he forgot to load the correct setup. I keep a note here stuck on my my monitor. It says load correct setup. You can't help but to keep those sticky notes up, and that one stays on my screen all the time here. Load correct setup.
All right, on screen, yeah, Felipe Mafra.
Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this.
Whoa!
Drove him into the grass.
That was Joan Duvall. That's why he was that aggressive. He had to make that move to make up this time. He made it work, though. Look at that. Gets them both.
Woohoo!
The dust flying on the exit. Let's watch the onboard. Ambitious move by Chrono Sim Racing, but he saw what was going on ahead of him, moved to the right, off into the dirt, got it back on the black stuff in time and put the binders on, just snuck it inside the car of Felipe Mafra, and you can move Jan Duvall up into 37th.
Sean, that's a man with a mission.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely looking to pick him off as quick as he can, willing to do just about anything to get it done.
Oh, right in front. Oh, my goodness. I was afraid he was going to come back on the track there.
Yeah, that was ERA NPMS number 725. Ian Ford hits it hard, damages that car. Serious wing damage on the Audi. And right side damage is pretty heavy.
Hats off to him, though, for not bringing that car out in front. He scared the heck out of me. And that was right in front of our early leader.
Yeah, a lot of credit for him being patient there. But that was a hard lick to the right rear of that Audi, and there you can see the damage done to it. Honestly, Sean, I have to imagine they're not as worried about the wing as much as they are whether or not they slam the suspension into it. Oh, and it looks like...
Well, he's crab walking right now, so yeah, the suspension damage heavy on that car, and quite honestly, the Audis, the suspension damage on those, not hard to get when you wrap a wall like that.
And he is going to have to take it into the pits to get it repaired. That car is not in good shape. Still, relatively few casualties in the early half hour of this race. Actually, more like 25 minutes. We're not quite yet to the half-hour mark as we watch Curb Surfers work their way through the Lesmos and now down towards Ascari. Still, our top three has unchanged for quite a while. Mitchell de Jong leading, Vladimir Ozertovsky in second, and Jesus Cecilia in third.
Sean, if you're a crew chief and you get this weather, we have mostly cloudy, 77 degrees is the ambient temperature. Track temperature is only 80 degrees. You got to be happy if you're looking at a 3-hour race. This is going to make driving a little easier for you boys, with them.
Yeah, well, the track conditions are nice, but the problem with it is you're actually generating a lot of horsepower right now with these conditions, and for a car like the McLaren that's up on the horsepower, you're going to burn a little bit more fuel without any help if you're caught out working by yourself right now. That's like our friend Jean Del Valle. You're going to be burning a lot of fuel now. He's got a lot of work to do. Got himself still up to 36th. And still working on getting back to where he was. But again, these conditions, you are probably generating a little bit more horsepower and burning a little bit more fuel. So something to certainly think about.
Let's jump back to 25th position. Jose Maria Lopez for Blancpain Racing Team, VEC. He's got a run on the car ahead. Alex Arana. Oh, but he lifts. I thought he was going to try and make use of it. Tucks right up behind him. Still, Arana goes a little bit defensive down to that first chicane. Cars behind them making a little bit of a dive. Looks like that was Fabrice Cornelis. Stays out of it, though. Gets a bad exit from that first chicane. That's going to put him under threat from Marcus Meyer.
Sean, you notice the difference between, we cover some top tier racing in GSRC and some of the private leagues, but man, this is some impressive racing going on from these guys. Sometimes my jaw drops of what these guys are able to do.
I think the proof in it is the fact that we still see these trains of cars just locked on each other, traveling through this field at top speed, and there's not been much fall off in between. I would almost say the different packs lends to seeding as to the seeding of the drivers here in the series right now. Your very top drivers are obviously in that first pack, and maybe the second tier is in that second one. You understand where I'm going with that, but right now there isn't much differentiating between the different tiers. They're all still just backed up throughout the track. I mean, the leaders have only gotten away just over 30 seconds from the back of the field.
And of the 50 cars that started this race, there are 46 still out on track and running. Pedro Gomez is still in his pit stall in 47th position, but I'm not sure if they're going to be out anytime soon, continuing on. You can see for the Era MPMS car, we saw them slam into the wall not too long ago.
Sean, you talked about fuel strategy and maybe the weather burning more horsepower for these guys. I wonder if that's an advantage for the cars that don't give a darn about the fuel strategy. There's a racing full power anyway. I wonder if the cars that are on the two-stop strategy are going to have to even lift more. It's kind of like the situation is bad. I would almost think these guys out front that are running top speeds.
Well, one of the things that you might be able to get away with when you're racing in a pack like this is changing your fuel map, like on the McLaren, where you have a couple different fuel maps that you can play with. And when I talk about mapping, it basically changes the throttle input and how much fuel the car will actually burn under that scenario. And you have a couple different choices to work with. Certainly going to map 2, working in a pack like this and working with draft will save you a lot of fuel. You may be able to get away with that with more laps than you initially planned, therefore saving even more fuel. Before you know it, you may have picked up an extra lap or two that gets you even closer to making that two-stop strategy a real possibility.
Another thing, Joe, I've noticed is while I could see some Chargers early on where the bad qualifying came through, it looks like water has like seeked its level. You know what I mean? It's we talked about. Whoa, look at this.
Yeah, he was right on top of Mitchell. That was Vladimir. For the curb surfers, I think he didn't anticipate that braking quite as much as Mitchell did, but nobody got into each other. But no, you're right, Bill. It seems like everybody's kind of found their position. That's the nature of endurance racing, though. You kind of get to where your pace takes you.
Some cars that I was keeping an eye on that I thought, well, these guys are coming. Well, they stopped coming. They found their level.
Now, something I'm noticing, even though it's relatively early on, we saw a little bit of dirt there on track on the exit of Della Rosia. I'm going to guess we're going to see a little bit there. You can, as we switch to Sergi there, out of Della Rosia once again, as now we come into the Lesmos. Let's watch the track. You're going to see a little bit of dirt there. It's a lot more significant coming out of the second Lesmos. See here, watch, just caked all over the track because guys have been pushing the limits and getting right out to the edge.
Yeah, there's a constant cloud in that corner, Joe. If you just sit there and keep the camera focused there for, I would say, half a lap, the cloud never really goes away. You're constantly driving through one as you get there to the second Lesmo.
Well, I know it's called the second Lesmo, but maybe we need to nickname it Pigpen Corner then, as we switch over to 7th with Boris Spolstra.
It will certainly be interesting to see as this race goes on how it really affects grip coming out of Lesmo there as that dirt continues to get carried and blown across the track.
Hey, let's go to 29th.
Yeah.
Bill, I think you spotted a little bit of a battle going on, although
Some
now
battle and some short tempers going on. Now, right now, Trinity Motorsports is running in 29th position. They just got around, I guess they're running 28th, actually. They just got around Fabrice Cornelius in that Dell NL Force car, but they were complaining about each other. Now, Marcus Meyer has got around them and left them behind. They were yelling at each other over the mic. Now there's a pass going on behind them. This is for 29th. Ducking in there is Cone Clopland. Clopland trying to get in there, and that's for Scuderia Leon Black, and he gets that pass done.
Or does he? Yes, he does. Nicely done. Down into the first chicane for Scuderia Leon Black. And unfortunately for Bell NL Force, they are losing position after position. They've already got Alpine Eagle Racing closing up behind. Wonder if that BMW can do anything. Or is that a Mercedes, actually? Yeah, that's a... No, that is a BMW. Called it right the first time.
So that was a team that was on the move, but was complaining about some racing and now has dropped a couple spots. Keep an eye on that car in 28th position now. They seem to be doing about Trinity Motorsports green. I'm doing my best to watch the guys, trying to find guys in the back that could surprise us.
And Sean, when you've got guys being aggressive and overtaking you, this is an endurance race, and you would think that the instinct would be, okay, let it go and just run your pace, but at this level with this much talent, is it worth it to be able to give out those spots, or with it being 3 hours, do you still try and push and keep them back?
This is where I hope I've got a spotter that's been watching that guy a little bit and maybe has the confidence to tell you that, hey, you know what, he's going to take himself out here any lap, but you just hit the nail on the head. With the talent pool here, how deep the field is, I think you got to keep racing, Joe. You got to keep racing, going as hard as you can. This is a no fear, keep driving scenario, if you ask me.
Let's go to Jose Maria Lopez in 25th, who is trying to threaten Alex Arana, but lifts before they get to that first chicane. Not going to try and stick it in there this time. Still this four-car train very close to one another. This is a battle for 24th between these four guys.
And that's just ahead of the battle that we just saw before with where I told you to keep an eye on some of those guys back there. They're coming in behind him now.
Still way too early for pit stop strategy to come into play. Where Sean, I'm expecting probably about the 2 hour mark, you would think?
Yeah, I'm thinking your window's going to be somewhere there between about 55 minutes and an hour and 5 minutes. I know that's kind of broad, but depending on the car and the kind of strategy you're on, I think that's probably about your 10-minute window.
It'll be interesting to see if these leaders can get to the 2 hour mark if they're using up fuel.
Looking at JJ Nylander. Now we switched up to Vladimir and the Curb Surfers. Sandwiched between Mitchell and Jesus. These guys continue to run like a metronome out there. Just rifling the laps off one by one.
Well, what you hope is that it does become routine. That's exactly what you want out of your driver. It should be routine at this point. You're 21 laps in, and routine is not a bad thing here, Joe.
So here's a question for you, Sean. If you were crew chiefing one of these guys, would you want them to try and pit together with those around them? Would you tell them to follow what the other guys do, or do you want them to try and split up?
Okay, well, if I'm the crew chief, I've got my own strategy. I'm maybe not so concerned with what the guys around me are doing, but if I feel like they're working the same strategy, I may want to try and come in with them. This is the type of track that, again, with fuel strategy being so important, I don't know that I want to get caught out alone. I want at least one car that I can try and work with and draft with, and hopefully when I get out of that first pit stop that I get back actually in some traffic, so I can get back on the point with my strategy going forward in the hopes of trying to make this a two-stop race.
Now, the other thing, Bill, that we haven't pointed out yet, I don't think, is Mitchell's been the one leading these two this whole time. I'm wondering if Vladimir and Jesus are going to be able to save just that little bit more fuel and maybe be able to leapfrog the VRS Coanda car.
Yeah, the gap from third back to fourth is not as big as it was earlier. I mean, it's under 7 seconds. It was 5 seconds within the first 10 minutes. So I wonder now if they're maybe decided that we're not having the pace. But I think that's a good point. The guy out in front certainly doing
all the hard work.
Yeah, somebody's got to do the dirty work, guys.
Looking to see if any of those guys are teammates, but they're not. They're
all separate teams.
Sean, we're racing. We still have not got into lap traffic yet.
Man.
It's incredible.
Jeez. Mari Kolak, the 13th place car, the Cobalt, the Orion, looked like Cobalt Tools, the Orion race team number 2. He's driving awful hard in that BMW. That last trip through Rettifilio, he was side by side, almost broke the car loose and off the track. And I've been watching for a few laps, and awful aggressive in that BMW, and still holding station in 13th.
I'm actually seeing him scored in 12th currently. May have gained a position recently. He's not really on the back of Sebastian Dunkel ahead of him in Gym Racing Black, but he is a little bit under threat from Alessandro Bacalega in P&D Racing. Bill, you spotted something interesting going on here mid-pack.
Yeah, it might be a way to kill two birds with one stone. Cover a front runner and some of the guys mid-pack right now. Let's go to 37th position. It's John DeValle. Remember, he was running in that front group. Watching him work his way through traffic right now. He's coming up behind Felipe Mafra, racing for SRB Racing A. He is just he's getting 1 or 2 positions every lap. He's really aggressive.
You know, Soup, the interesting thing about what you bring up by following him, when he came out from that pit stop, he was about 36 seconds off of our leader, and guess what? That gap is still the same. He's
right.
36 and a half seconds off the leader. You
know, Sean, we said he's going to be mired in traffic. Well, that's really us not being used to broadcasting this quality of driver, because all the traffic that he's mired in is fast, man. So they're not losing any time to the leaders, like you said. So every position he gets is he's now trying to see if he can get up one more spot here. Look at him diving. This is what he does. This is his spot. He dives it in deep. He is so good under braking.
That is some serious trust of the competitors around you to not turn in on you.
He is working that McLaren over, baby. I mean, that thing. Is that actually a McLaren? I'm beginning to wonder. That car handling not quite like I've seen a McLaren handle before.
He gets that spot. That was actually set up at the first chicane because it says, "I'm here." He made his announcement and then finished the job down there in, what is that, Rogia, Joe? Is that the name of that segment?
Della Rogia, yeah. Now, here's an interesting development. Alex Zerny has come into pit. I looked to check to see if his Team RSO car has touched anything. I didn't see any incidents in the previous 2 laps. That Mercedes looks clean, but he's into the pit stall. Now, this is not the time that we would expect that they would start to make pit stops.
A little early. Yes, definitely. I would think a little bit early. Now, they're in a BMW. That's right, Joe?
Mercedes.
A Mercedes, okay.
Yeah, I know the Bimmers tend to suck up the fuel and not be great in a straight line. Cue the BOP morning from various fans.
They know who they are.
We don't need to name names.
Yeah.
All right, they're back going. So I think that was a standard pit stop, but just a bizarre timing for strategy. Maybe, you know what? I wonder, thinking about it, let's see, this is 40 minutes in, so if you 40 times 3 is 120, that's 2 hours, right? Wait a minute.
Yeah, if you were going to do a 3-stopper and you wanted to split it evenly, is that what you were thinking? So
yeah, I was trying to figure out if maybe they're trying to split it into even stints.
What are we doing? We're doing 360 minutes, so it would be 36 by 3?
No, we're not doing. We're doing 3 hours. Math is not our strong suit.
Okay, 3 hours is 180 minutes.
180 minutes. There we go. So 180 divided by 3. Anybody got a calculator?
That's 60.
60. There we go.
Well, I guess we have to divide by 4.
Oh, that's there you go. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
so that would be 40 minutes. That's correct then.
There you go.
That's a 3-stop strategy. That's what we're seeing there. They're saying, okay, you know what? We can't do this on a 2. Let's just go as hard as we can. Make this a 3.
Took a while for us Americans to get there, but we got it figured out.
Yeah. Well, Soup, we need to get you new advocates for Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas is right around the corner.
My excuse is I was an art student, so.
You art guys, jeez.
Yeah, don't expect me to do math.
I was a music major too, so there you go.
I asked you guys before the broadcast if you wanted me to get the spreadsheet out and actually actively work strategy, but I decided not to do that. Maybe next week we'll do that.
Hey, we got a side-by-side battle for 12th here. Alessandro Bacalego just managed to overtake Zach Thomas, and that is going to be for 12th position. Knights that clean into the first chicane. No dramas for those guys. Wonder if Thomas has some sort of damage. Maybe he clipped a curb too hard. This is strange to see him moving backwards. Now, he is in a BMW, and that goes back to what we were talking about before. Straight line speed is not the strong suit of that machine.
Yeah, the Bimmer's at a little bit of a disadvantage here at Monza, but I'll tell you what, down the stretch here as we get to some other tracks, they won't be disappointed with that choice. And I keep going back to the fact I said it in the pre-race. That car's a tank, baby.
Right. That's why I like them. I can bang them up a bit, and they're going to run for me.
I'm checking in on our final car in the lead lap since we keep wondering when we're going to hit lap traffic here. That is Fernando Garcia Perez and Kronos International. The laps that they're running are 47.2, 47.5, 47.7. What are our leaders running here? He's actually running faster than the leaders, if I'm seeing correctly. Am I?
Laurette just ran a 47.721 his last lap.
Interesting. So he's actually, they're not hitting traffic, Bill, because he's actually pulling away as we almost had a moment.
You're looking at third position there, yeah. Jesus Cecilia almost got into the back of Vladimir.
Yeah. Probably doing a little bit of a Catholic cross there. So after that one. Here we go. Watch this. My goodness. Almost has to take to the escape road for that one. Ugh. You're going to see him close in as we ride on board. Let's watch the hands there as he closes in. Woo! Quick handwork to be like, whoa, this is a bad situation.
I think it might have melted a little paint off the front end of that car. I'm amazed at the amount of racing that's still going on there at that first chicane in Retifilio. It's crazy. It really is. I mean, you really want to risk it there? Really?
Sean, I think I'm going to have to rethink my perception of this race. I was under the impression that these three guys, how quickly they got out, that they were going to run this and do this in a 3-stopper. Since they opened up that 5-second lead, they've started. I think there's fuel saving now too. I think they have visions of doing this on 2 stops.
They've gone into their shells. Yes, yes. And what I'm thinking is that they started with that flat out strategy.
Let's just get away
for X number of laps, and now it's time to go into different map, and we'll all work together here and keep it nice and tidy, fight with the clean air, and not stay in the traffic. Now they're getting ready to approach a back marker now, but the field is starting to gain a little bit of ground on them now. They've certainly closed down the gap just a bit, Sue.
Yeah, and even this back marker they're picking up on, Joe. This is Ian Ford. He's 7 laps down. He's really not.
No, I believe that's Pedro Gomez. I'm seeing.
Got the BMW of Marin Polak is around. The number 8 is around and had trouble, and it was in Retifilio.
You got help.
He did get
Sebastian
help.
Dunkel got him. Yeah.
It's coming out of that first chicane, still
Yes.
side by side. Neither of them willing to give it up. A little bit of a better exit from Sebastian, and he runs out of room and tips him into the wall. Let's watch it from above, see if we can get a better angle on what exactly went down.
That could have been so much worse for that BMW than he really wound up with. But yeah,
Ooh,
side by side.
That looks pretty bad to me. He slammed into that tire barrier.
I guess the car almost went over on its lid, though, and I guess I was more concerned about that. He's able to get back on track, Joe.
Sean, you are ever the optimist.
In Dunkel's defense, it looks like Kolek got a little bit loose in front of him there, so I don't really think he turned him as much as Kolek got loose and then got into him.
But I was just talking about that, the amount of racing that's still going on there in that first chicane. I mean, it's every lap still. Somebody wants to press the issue, and man, we haven't even hit the halfway point yet.
Yeah, we should be fair to Dunkel, Bill, that he was as far over as he could go. He wasn't, drifting over on the track. So he's able to continue on into 12th. Maybe with one less Christmas card come the end of the year.
Well, they were running at the back of the top 10. That's a competitive car, those guys were.
Well, guys, Kolak keeps the car on the track. So there goes the BMW staking it out.
But at this point, he's got no other choice, although he's looking very slow. He's got cars coming up onto him, and he's going to get overtaken by Andre Bocher.
Yeah, and totally misses entry on that chicane.
He's getting tight. Looking at either side, this is the best battle we've got right now.
Juan Lopez, Vendaval Sim Racing White, there on the inside.
Can't quite make it stick down into the De La Roja, backs out of it. Jairo Villa also
The
just
BMW is
stepping back
still
a little
handling, Joe.
Well, Bill called it a tank.
It's good for drivers with limited talent. I'm not saying that anyone driving it, but for those of us who get familiar with the walls and curbs, it's good for us.
Well, Orion Race Team must have a bit of a Panzer instead of a BMW out there right now, because they're able to hold off a couple of hard-charging drivers behind them. Lopez still kind of stalking behind that BMW, looking for an opportunity.
Sean, I tell you, I think what's going on here, why it's so competitive, I think all 45 cars that are out there, look at this pass being finished here.
Lopez looking around the outside down into Parabolica. That's going to be a tough ask, but look at the launch. He gets off the corner. He's going to have the momentum. Can he get it done? Oh, and it looks like Kolak's going to peel off, and I think this might be a scheduled stop just a little lap earlier or so.
I think they're pretty close to their window, Joe. Good point there.
Well, I don't...
Whoa,
Yeah.
Yaro Villa fighting there, heading down to the first chicane. Him and Juan Lopez going at it.
I would think a stop with 2:09 left to go, though, is still, you're looking at a splash and go. I would think these guys want to get to the 2-hour mark to do this. And Sean, what I was finish my point, I think the reason this is so competitive is everyone is under the same restraints. Nobody can really race what their talent would allow because they're all saving fuel. I tend to save fuel probably better than most drivers when I race 100% because my 100% is so slow. What I'm trying to say is that it brings everybody into the same type of restriction.
Absolutely. And I'm in that boat with you, exactly. I'm naturally saving fuel.
Right, yeah.
On my driving stop. Or lack thereof.
No comment from me on that one. So
Okay. Guys, just followed a few cars going through Lesmo 2 there, and the dirt is really starting to build up there on the track surface.
hey, let's check up with our leaders because Mitchell de Jong is starting to stretch a gap. He's got a second over Vladimir's curb surfer car. I wonder if he's able to finally break away a little bit. I thought maybe they were coming in there as they took that inside line there. Still, Cecilia staying with Vladimir, so those two are still connected at the hip.
He's breaking draft, Joe. He's trying to get him out of his draft there.
I think as he gets closer to this 2-hour mark, I bet he has a better idea of how fast he can go for these next 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, Bill. That I wonder if Mitchell knows I can't make that extra lap. So go hard now, and just burn it so that I have 0.05 or whatever left in the tank. Whoa, wow, look at Vladimir closing at De La Roja. Is he going to cut the chicane? Makes a mistake coming out of the corner, but thankfully he had stretched away from Jesus quite a bit, so he stays safe, but that was a big mistake from Vladimir, and in fact, it cost him an entire second from Mitchell. Let's watch on board on the replay. He closed to high-rated knots. I was wondering about that move. Thankfully, he mostly kept it out of the gravel. Curb Surfers going to be kicking themselves for that mistake. That could have certainly broke the draft fully. And Mitchell might still have another couple laps before he comes in to try and streak away from these guys. Let's keep an eye on this in case that gap starts to grow.
Hey, can we go back to battle for 26th position here? I'll tell you what, seeing some tough racing from Marcus Meyer, who now leads a pack behind him, trying to get there. Fabrice Cornelius and John Vanderval, of course, now in that mix. Oh, boy. Oh, the BMW's around. Was that broke?
Let's look at the replay. Rocky Garcia also had significant damage from that one.
Yeah, car's crabbing bad. That Audi's done. It's going to have to tow.
A number of hits on the car of Martin Asher. Let's watch the onboard. He was in the thick of that hard battle, but then once the tip came, he was just kind of helpless. This pack streaking towards him. Jordi Clara got a big chunk of him on that one.
Guys, JJ Nylander and Dmitry Gorski just had a moment in Redifilio. Those two racing awful hard right now. Dmitry was the winner getting through there, but I'm thinking JJ may have dropped him from the Christmas card list there, the team Christmas card list this year.
Bo Vernice also behind those guys, really hunting them down. And then Vishalis Gergis for Apex Racing, staying close behind. And in fact, he's got a really good run. Are we going to see an attempt? It looks like that virtual driver's machine goes defensive for a little bit, but Pashalis backs out of it, so no threat down into Ascari. These guys stay in line. I'm taking a look back up at the front, and you know what? I think... Whoa! Meanwhile, on screen, Nylander, very brave, down into Parabolica. Let's stay on this battle, but just an update. The gap between Mitchell and Vladimir, nearly 4 seconds. I think he was towing those guys along.
I think Nylander had a bit of a chip on his shoulder after the last trip through Redifilio and really just pressed the issue there, and now he breaks away from them, heading back into Redifilio. And this is certainly a much safer trip for him this time through there.
Thibault manages to overtake Bashalis down into the first corner. So move Thibault Vernice up into the top 20. Looks like these guys have started to settle themselves out. Let's jump back up 4.5 seconds now. Mitchell is breaking away at a rate of knots. This is phenomenal.
I think he's happy with what he did saving fuel the first hour. He knows he's in his window.
I can't believe he's stretching the gap this quickly unless Vladimir is intentionally backing off to save a little bit more fuel. especially now that Vladimir doesn't have a draft partner.
DeYoung was leading the doing here. He's coming in. No,
stays out.
See, he's happy with what he had done. But wasn't he leading? Wasn't he the guy that we were saying was doing all the work?
He's got light feet, apparently. 2 minutes to go before we hit the 1 hour mark in this 3-hour race. If you're just joining us, this is round 1 in the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series. This qualifies drivers for the Professional Series in 2017. There are 25 drivers who drove in the 2016 season. They have to re-earn their spots in. Everybody else here is looking to try and jump them and take away their black stripe. However, we should note there are some drivers that already have a guarantee into the 2017 season that are out here driving. They're basically just getting some practice in.
And the pits are getting busy now. Friction Racing coming in.
Yeah, we're into that window that we talked about here a little while ago.
You know, on screen as we... Wow, yeah, you weren't kidding about that busy pit lane. Look at that. On screen a bit ago, we saw, as we had the shots of Vladimir and Jesus, Yassine Beber, who's been leading the train behind them, has run them down from what was 8 seconds many minutes ago down to less than a second.
Sorry, Joe. Just in front, I was following, checking in with John DeValle, who's now up to 29th, but trouble broke out just in front of them as they were getting through Della Roggia, and almost got caught up in that, and we can catch that up here on the replay. They head down into Della Roggia, and DeValle has to make an evasive move to avoid trouble just in front of him.
Looks like he had a little bit of help.
He did caught a little bit of that Mercedes, it looks like.
And actually should make a small correction. He was in 23rd. That was Fabrice Cornelius, who was trying to overtake, just slid into him. Meanwhile, Yassine Beber has come in for Team GTNF. Jean-Philippe Lacombe has hopped into that car.
Now, what I expect to happen here is that John DeValier is going to get the lead back. Remember, in the 321, the Chrono Sim Racing driving throne team that pitted early was up front. Made that bizarre early pit stop. He should be your leader for 3 or 4 laps.
Oh, and something happened to Vladimir. We need to try and see what happened to the curb surfers. He has gone from 2nd to 3rd. It looks like he was overtaken down into the Parabolica about a lap ago. Jesus had enough riding behind him and decided to try and get by that McLaren, and he did so decisively into the final corner. And he's leaving him behind. I don't think this is raw pace that we're seeing from the curb surfers, Sean. I think these guys are really pouring on the fuel saving.
Okay, the leader finally in.
So is our 2nd and 3rd place cars.
And they got past the 2-hour mark.
We had an incident behind them. That was Boris Spolstra and Martin Skizabak. I'm going to get that name right at some point. Watch on the pit entry here as they come in from the chopper view. A little bit of side-by-side contact. Woo! That was Marcin for Triton Racing who snuck that in there. Let's see if we can get an onboard here. Well, he was pushing that pit entry, which, Sean, you have to. You got to inch out every little thing that can give you an advantage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The pit stops here are so very important. You don't want to lose time. You're going to dig right all the way to the line.
Ooh, I think he got significant damage from that touch.
Hey, I think he clipped the barrier, too.
Well, tried to thread the needle. Unfortunately, he proved to be the camel. So,
How about a little love maybe to our overall leader right now, Andrew Lorette, racing for Fox BR Motorsports. Of course, they still have to make their pit stop. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 cars still out there that need to come in.
all right, Mitchell de Jong is going. He's going to come out of the pits. Where is this? Looks like 8th place. Going to lose one more to Jordi Clara. Make it 9th place.
And as I just gave Fox some love, a little pass for the lead now. Lucas Justat. MSP-driven driver hole 1. These guys should be coming in right now.
Yep, both of them. Andrew Lorette following him in. They got a car coming in very hot behind him. Manages to stop. That's Andrea
the third
Bocher.
place car. And looking for the car in 4th. Zachary Hanlon, the Australian driver. He should be coming in as well, unless he keeps it out one more time. Nope, he's coming in. And so who do you think that's going to give the lead to? Well, I believe it's going to be the...
Jan de Waal, actually, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Jan de Waal, the guy who made that early stop.
Now, we do need to add a footnote here, because Jan had to have had a short stop. He wouldn't have been able to fill the tank up completely. That's why he's so far ahead of Mitchell de Jong. In fact, it's about 56 seconds I'm seeing on my timing and scoring.
Right. I imagine he's going to stay out here probably another 3 or 4 laps, run it as long as he can until it's dry, and then he'll have this stop and one more to make.
Now, one thing we haven't talked about yet, Sean, is tires. And that's been an interesting talking point, because we know that they're going to take tires on this first stop. That they'll definitely need fresh boots at some point during this race. If they don't take them during the first one, they'll absolutely have to take them during the second one. But from what I understand, at the end of last season in the Pro Series, there was a number of drivers double stinting tires because they found an advantage.
Yeah, and now the track conditions are favorable today, and we're not getting a report. We don't have any way to see what kind of tire where they're actually getting under these conditions, but yeah, you're going to certainly need them once. This first stop may be your best chance to get them, and you can try and run the rest of the race out. Again, the track conditions we're seeing today, the tires are probably holding up pretty well, Joe, unless you've been abusing them, of course, and you've been in trouble. And driving style has a lot to do with that. If you're lighting them up every trip around, then you're probably going to need them every time you come in. But I think a one set strategy may not be a bad way to go today.
Here's what I've learned from doing other GSRC GT3 races. A 60-minute stint is not worth doing the change if it's a 60-minute race when we have those short fuel races when you do it. It's about break even at 90. If you're going 2 hours, you definitely want to change tires. I think Sean nailed it. I would think you probably want to change every time, unless you're really nursing these because you're saving fuel. Maybe you can go 2 hours on a set.
For those not familiar, wondering why we keep talking about whether it's worth taking tires, much like the real-world Blancpain series, these cars are not allowed to change tires and take fuel at the same time. So if you choose to take tires, which is done after fueling, then it will cost you more.
It's about 27 seconds. It's about to do.
Guys, battle for 11th place. David Perez and Jim Racing Yellow working over Patrick Bieri. That's a good fight.
Bieri, very familiar to this series, the Swiss driver, fast in the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series, slightly slower cars, but another type of endurance racing. David Perez has no answer. He's going to stay in the draft down into the Rettifilo chicane. Everybody accordioning together in this top 10 group, and then stretching back apart as they come back around the Curva Grande. Andrew Lorette sounds like he is upset about something. Let's see if I can figure out, is he still in the car or has he exited the car at this point?
racing for Fox? Is that who he had? Yeah, he was for Fox. He's still in the pits right now. Remember, he was the leader. He was one of those, the leader there that had the long stint.
And all right, let's see if we can figure out what happened to the Fox BR Motorsports machine. That Mercedes.
I found it. He got punted by Mark Perez in the Odux. Yeah, I can understand why he's upset. In the Odux Motorsports machine, that's lap 36.
Yeah. This is coming into Ascari. And in fact, he was being threatened by Jose Maria Lopez, who looked to the inside. You're going to see it here on the replay. Oh, excuse me, no, we're not on replay yet. Thought we had it pulled up. Looks like we're not going to be able to find that replay, unfortunately. But yeah, he was being overtaken by the VEC Blancpain team. I think he was maybe braked a little bit early to try and let him through and not fight him too hard. And unfortunately, Xavi for Odux Motorsports was not expecting the early braking and just punted into the back of him. All right, with some choice words with many extra letters for...
We think we might have it. Our director's spinning the knobs and turning the sliders there.
Got his head on the swivel in there.
Nope.
This is not the wrong one. This is lap 38, it looks like.
Back to Patrick Pieri. He's now up to 10th.
Our leader is in.
Another spot.
He didn't run as long as I thought. This is Kronos coming in now. This is unfortunate. I was hoping he could run a little bit farther.
He still hasn't given up the lead, interestingly. Jairo Villa is the next one in line.
He had about a 36-second lead.
Now, did Jairo Villa and Boris Spolstra are in second and third? I'm assuming they took a shorter pit stop. Those two may be employing...
Yeah, they didn't take tires, so... He took a 26-second stop. The Gitos SST Orange team did.
That's going to move Jairo and the SST Orange team up into first. Boris into second. Looks like Kronos is going to have Fran Rodriguez hop in the car. Mitchell de Jong retakes third place after leading early on. We are well past that first hour mark now. We are a third of the way into the race.
Well, that Kronos team went to about an hour 50 remaining, so as they start to roll now.
Well, they're definitely going to have to do,
about
3
stops.
Minutes.
Right, they went about 10 minutes farther than the other guys. So now they're on the same. Now they're basically on the same strategy. All the cars need to make one more stop from here.
So where does that empty them out to?
Looks like about 27th. Now the only advantage would be that he can maybe run faster since he went a little longer.
Still, after 2 stops to be in 27th place, that's not bad. It's almost halfway through the field. Meanwhile, battle for 4th. Looks like Cecilia managed to overtake Jordi Clara in the Dream Factory machine.
Now, Jesus is out there running 2 stints. What is the... is there a minimum driver on this one? I would assume there would
minimum
be.
Of 2 drivers, and they have to do each have to have their fair share.
Oh, 2 drivers. Yes, 2 drivers to qualify, but it's not restricted by the sim. So the point is, we're not sure if some of these drivers are
basically
solo, right?
it'll give you the position. It won't disqualify you at the end if you run solo. But however,
it's
need
not
to
help
run
you in qualifying for the.
You need a team to be able to make it into the official series in 2017. Let's hop over to 8th place. Got a whole train of cars. Look at this. My goodness. Jean-Philippe Lecombe for GTNF is leading the way as Patrick Bieri has David Perez all over him, still coming through the Curva Grande. But it doesn't look like he's wanting to threaten. Is he going to take a peek out down into Della Rosia? Just a little bit of a look. Is he going to try and outbrake him? Sneaks a nose in. Going to get side by side. Patrick Bieri says, take the corner.
Yeah, well,
Fight you another day.
Perez has been trying to pull that off for like the last 6 laps, Joe. And he finally gets the position for Bieri. The good news for both of them is they've continued to move up the field.
It looks like Tim Ryan also just got overtaken by Ludwig Guidi. That was for 12th and 13th. And in fact, more positions being lost as Tim Ryan gets a terrible exit coming out of the second Lesmo. Jose Maria Lopez for VEC Blancpain coming up the inside as they work their way under the old banking. And he gives that one up. Tim is playing the long game here.
Hey, Sean, if you could, look at your timing and scoring with me. Now, look at the leader. He took a 26-second stop. You see that when I'm seeing it? And the guy in second took a 42-second stop. Now, those are considerably shorter than most of the stops that are like a minute 10. So I wonder what that 26-second stop is. Is that,
I think that's the driver that we saw splitting it up into even thirds. Well, in quarters, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly it. And you're going to see, the varying strategies are going to lend to that. So, of course, not taking tires, depending on what your tire strategy, going to affect that time also.
So this is interesting. So the top 2 drivers right now, we're expecting them to probably make 2 more stops, but they can run full speed.
We had
They
an
can keep
interesting.
digging, that's right.
We had an interesting battle going on for 6. The Curb Surfers have put your favorite driver in, Bill.
Oh, I'm going to guess. I'm not even going to look. Could it be Freddie Rasmussen? Is that who we want?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Ilya Molotovchikov.
Oh, not
is
Ilya
back.
Molotovchikov. I've worked all night, though. I got it. I hope he has an eventful race because I got that name down.
You got it this year? All right.
Ilya Molotovchikov.
No more supercuts?
What? Did I say supercuts?
No. Well, infamously, the first race that we called with Ilya, he was so amused by our attempts to say his name, he put together a video compiling all of our tries. But we got it now.
10 different versions, yeah.
Curb Surfers actually won that race that we first saw them in. But he's able to start to streak away from Radicals Online's Alexander Manea. Not really threatening. He was close down into the first corner last lap, but he's starting to drop back. Let's see if the draft starts to reel him back into that McLaren. And with him being in a BMW, he's going to need it.
Mitchell de Jong, our former leader, now in third, guys. He is he's turning in some really solid laps right now. About a little over a second faster than Boris Bolstra up there in second to close that gap down to just under 6.5 seconds now.
I think Shawnee has a better idea of what the weather and the fuel situation was. You saw him nursing it the first 50 minutes until he got an idea of what he had, and then he put in some hot laps those last 3 or 4 laps before he came in. So I think he's probably going to be able to run a little faster than he did the first time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's hot lapping right now, but he's definitely turning in some very fast laps. Yeah.
I think he realizes I could probably do a little bit more than I did the first stint. Yeah. Now remember, the first guys are out there. It's about 6 seconds from Yarovia in the G-Tros SST Orange team. That's your leader. About 6.5 seconds back to Boris Spolstra in the Scuderia Leon Orange team. You want to try that name for me? You're good at that one, Joe.
I've been saying Spolstra as well. Sounds like a delicious Central European dish or something. Meanwhile,
I'm sorry, Amjad, did you say, is that the Miami Heat? Is that the... Yeah, okay. Coach for the Miami Heat, his name's Spolstra, so we could do that.
Right. I've been trying to remember where I knew that name from. That's it. Okay, right.
Probably not the same person, though.
Yeah, no, well, probably not. He's a little busy right now. But
yeah,
Spolstra has about a 4.8 second lead on De Jong, but that was about 5.5 when Sean and I started to talking about it. So Mitchell is a coming, Sean.
4.5 now. Yeah, again, he's a lot faster now. He's about 1.5 seconds faster than Spolster and Via both.
Mitchell making great use of that Audi. Currently chasing down Scuderia Leon Orange in a Mercedes. Jairo Villa, let's see, is Villa in an Audi as well? I believe he is.
Now I'm looking at Mitchell's
That's correct,
teammates.
yes.
He's got Philip Stam, Stamm, and then he's got David Williams. Now, that is not the. There's a David Williams we know from
Not the TNT David Williams, no.
From the Pack Majors and the Autobahn series.
There's probably a few David Williams out there
probably.
in the U.S.
But the point is, he's got 2 co-drivers. One of those guys is not going to get to race.
Well, one of them could be his crew chief. So,
well, actually, he's got 4 names under him. He's got Mark Backman in there as well. So he's got a big group with him. Him and 3 other names. De Jong and Williams are probably who we're going with as we research the stats.
I remember I was watching Alexander Minea try to hold on to Ilya Molotovchikov, and he's not dropped off of him. He hasn't been able to threaten, but currently he's staying within half a second consistently.
Guys, want to take you back to 11th place. Jean-Philippe Lacombe, Team GTNF. He's starting to pick up some ground here. The Audi just got by there. Just got by Jose Maria Lopez for Blancpain Racing Team, and he is making steady gains now, moving up, trying to get to the next car up in front of him there. That's Julian Rodriguez Moreno and Iberia Racing Ben Q. It's a good pack right there, doing some hard battling right now.
What position was that, Sean? 11th?
Yes, that's right. Jean-Philippe is up to 11th now, and that Audi really working well through the traffic right now. The car is clean.
Leader of this train currently, Moritz Lohner and Husingfeld Kor. In fact, just behind him, Julian Rodriguez Moreno, currently under threat from Jean-Philippe as he closes in out of the Della Roja, now coming through the first Lesmo. And then the second one. Guys are starting to accordion together. Jose Maria Lopez for VEC Blancpain also closes in on these guys. Are we going to see a pass attempt? Just a little bit too far back before Ascari, it looks like, but Lopez down into the braking of Ascari, looking nice and solid. Let's see if he can get himself a run off the chicane.
That team for Lopez is up 30 positions, tied for the best advance so far. Started 42nd, running at 12th right now, and soon to make it 11th, I think.
Well, Lopez and JP, that's a couple of Frenchmen going at it right there.
From a long ways back, but he's given room.
He made up his mind in Ascari that he was going to do that.
Jean-Philippe left him more than a car's width. They're going to be side by side just ahead of them, though we got a battle between Rodriguez Moreno and Lohner, and that's going to be an easy pass. Oh, but the battle's not done behind them. Jean-Philippe not giving up. He's going to have the inside of this corner, still side by side. This is 3 corners now. Not giving up. Jean-Philippe is going to have the long way around the Curva Grande, and that might seal the deal here. Is Jose going to close the door? Yes, he does.
That was the Battle of France there, boys. The countrymen going at each other.
Caught me off guard there. I assumed that Lopez was not from France, and you're correct.
Sean, we said he's a-coming, and he is there now. Spolster has been run down by Jiang.
Look at Mitchell just close in under, breaking down into the Parabolica. He's going to have the draft down the front stretch. He's going to be a slam dunk. As we ride on board with Mitchell. Looking back now, they're still side by side. Boris is not giving it up quite yet. Now he lifts and he lets him through.
Well, what's interesting is the lead. It was about 4.5, maybe 5 seconds from first to second. Now it's 8.2. So I'm not so sure if it was De Jong that was gaining on Spoelstra as much as Spoelstra was just falling back into the clutches of De Jong. So now Sean will have to watch and see. Let's say it now that there's nobody between De Jong and Villa, 8.8 seconds. Well, right now, so we'll keep an eye on that. See if he can close it up.
And literally, there is no one between them.
No.
There's no lap traffic or anything. So if Mitchell wants to, he's flat out right now and chasing the throne, trying to get back on top of it.
Off-screen, Ludwig Giddy managed to overtake 12th position. And that was from Jean-Philippe Lecombe.
The sad chapter in that story, though, is I believe Villa has still 2 more stops to make, while I believe De Jong's going to be able to go the distance on one.
We just had one of our top 15 cars had a little trouble there through Della Rogia. That was Julian Grunestel in the 15th place, the MSP driver's home car. Little trouble there getting through the chicane. Had to get it off course and give up position to Xavi Estella, who will take that place from him in the Odox Motorsports Samsung machine.
I'm looking at my replay, and it looks like Julian took a little bit too much curb on the entry to Della Rogia. That really unsettled the car. So only cost him 1 spot, but every spot will count if you want to get into the Pro Series come 2017. Cannot make mistakes like that. So Grunestel for MSP Drivers Home 1. Going to have to make up some spots. Meanwhile, we jump up to Molotov Shikov, who's in quite a sandwich, it looks like. He's got Manea still drafting behind him, but now they've caught up to Jordi Clara. Remember, Clara on an alternate strategy to these guys. Don't anticipate him fighting too hard. Whoa, looks like that BMW of Manea was much stronger through Della Rogia. Almost got into the back of the McLaren.
Get into the back of that McLaren, you're going to get burned, baby. Just know that.
McLaren's known for just absolutely spitting fire out of those exhausts. Still not able to make his way past Clara.
Now that's the 221 machine is in the hunt as well back there.
David Perez rocking up to the back of these guys. All 4 of these are 4 positions at 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And looking at it, Joe, I believe, I hate to correct you, but I think they're all pretty much on the same strategy. Right now they're running about a 14-lap stint. So I think everybody, same pit strategy from everybody, including Clara. So he's going to lose that position now.
Molotov Shikov finally gets himself a launch out of the final corner.
Yeah, now, interesting thing
Whoa!
about Clara. Oh, boy.
Almost trading paint between those 2 cars.
Manea.
They touch one more time.
Yeah, Manea, the real loser there, almost all the way off course. Able to save it, though. Good job.
And I should know better than correct my associate Joe Peak there. Clara is on a different strategy. It's same pit length, but he didn't take tires, so that's why he's out there running on old rubber. Yeah, he had a 46-second pit stop compared to these other guys. So Clara did not take tires.
Perez getting very close to Manea there, coming out of Della Rogia. And in fact, Perez was smelling blood in the water out of that first chicane, but couldn't take advantage of it. This battle is not done yet. Manea all over the back of Clara. Clara stays defensive to the inside, gives him just a little bit of room. I don't think it's going to be a second asking for Manea. Sneaks by down to the braking of Ascari. Is it going to be 2 positions, though?
Yep.
Perez sneaks through. Jim Racing Yellow moves himself up into 7th position.
Yeah, I think Clara better get used to that type of situation coming because he's having a hard time keeping pace.
So old tires can pay off, we've seen, but it looks like this season, or at least for this race, they're starting to hurt. Meanwhile, there's our leader, Hyrovia, for GTROS SST Orange.
You can see that lead, which was once 8 seconds, now down to 5.2. Lead those little, whatever colors those are, green or yellow numbers that are moving around there, 5.3 seconds.
They're green, Bill, just for your information.
You.
Yeah.
Rods and cones. Hey, let's go to 16th position real quick. Is Patrick Bieri racing for Trinity Motorsports. He's having a great race for these guys. He's up 30 spots, started 46, running 16th. But he is under challenge right now.
Whoa, Tim Ryan had a moment. I'm trying to find him on my screen. Let's watch the replay, see what in the world happened to Tim. He's coming down to the first chicane.
Yeah, he cut the chicane. Oh my goodness, he just took a right. You know what? I think he was worried he was going to run into the back of these guys, and he just bailed.
He bailed very, very early, though.
But
yeah, they were under braking. Watching it here on the onboard replay. Boy, you have to think that Patrick Bieri saw him come through and go, "What in the world are you doing?" As he gets offline and dutifully gives those back.
Flying all over the place there.
So this is a nice battle. Bieri is, I think, maybe holding up the train here a little bit. Oh my goodness, this train goes back, all the way back to 26th position. There's 10 cars involved in this, 11.
This is all for position, too. There is no lapped cars in here. Tatsuo Hashimoto looking around the outside of Winlupera. Brazilian versus Japanese driver. It looks like Tatsuro is able to take that position away. In fact, it's not over for Gwendol, as he's going to be overtaken by Alex Arana. We had a car in the pits. Who is that? Patrick Bieri heading in. Apparently Clara, who is losing positions hand over fist.
Diago's also in, guys. It's
Diago, yes, stood in for Clara. So they have a driver swap in that car, in that Mercedes. Tell you what, Alexander Manea for Radicals has got himself a nice little ticket in the form of Ilya. He's just been riding his coattails for, what is it, about 25 minutes now that we've seen?
Just saw Alex Zerny come out of the pits there, Joe. He came out into a hornet's nest with traffic. Now Zerny all the way back in 39th place now, but again, he came out into just a mess of traffic there. Managed to do it clean and get back on the track.
We're at the halfway mark of this race, so we are going to take a short break. We'll be back after a brief moment's respite for our voices. Right now, Hyrovia continues to be your leader. Mitchell de Jong holding down second, Boris Boltra in third. A lot of strategy yet to play, so stick around. Welcome back to Autodromo Nacional Monza, here for the first round of the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series, the qualifiers for the 2017 season. You're watching the Global Sim Racing channel, and currently leading this race after an hour and 35 minutes in, Jairo Villa has been caught by Mitchell de Jong. And it looks like this pass is going to happen soon. Jairo Villa is on an alternate strategy to Mitchell. Mitchell running a little bit faster pace, and we expect him to overtake him any moment now. Behind them in third, Jesus Cecilia, Boris Spolstra is in fourth, and Ilya Molotovchikov rounds out our top five. Oh, and we're understanding that as we ride on board, de Jong is maybe lifting a little bit?
Yeah, he probably had a little hotter first half of this stint than he probably would have liked. Now remember, the guy up in front, Villa, is on a three-stop strategy, so he's running full throttle, I would assume. And
guys! Oh, I'm sorry, Simon Grossman, big trouble at Retafilio, and it was Simon Grossman getting. Oh man, that was massive. Tatsuro Hashimoto caught up in that.
Wow.
Biggest shunt we've seen of the day, guys. That was horrible.
That kicked off when it looks like Pashalis Gurgis drifted a little bit to the right at the same time that Simon drifted left in the braking, and you see the results there as Simon took to the grass, and poor Tatsuro was just an innocent victim in that, had no idea that was going to be coming.
Tatsuro, absolutely no idea. He's just making his trip through the chicane, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a car comes flying through, wipes him out. Oh, man, that was heavy.
Miko Melkia for Jim Racing Black, also a victim in that, caught a little bit of a piece of the end. You were going to see it. He's in the yellow machine. It's there. It starts behind them. Tatsuro gets a whack.
Oh.
Tatsuro still trying to limp the car around, actually did not take the tow. He was able to actually get up off the wall. And
drove it off the wall?
Yeah, he got it up off there and back down on the ground, and he's trying to make it around now.
Yeah, he sure did back it out of there.
Another car with trouble, guys. Philo was riding there in 36th place. Not anymore. He's losing lots of spots. I'm sorry, in 34th.
And the pass for the lead is finally done there. We just got that happening right now. De Jong just got around Villa.
Looks like Taigo, Fialo, that's who we were talking about. Coming into Della Rogia, that was a self-spin. Didn't hit anything, just turned himself around and had a bit of trouble trying to get the car straightened.
Boy, Sean, that accident we just saw. Talk about an innocent bystander, huh? My gosh.
Man.
Let's watch that one more time. Get our entertainment worth of the afternoon here.
Oh, look at
I'm going to get on board Simon. I'm amazed he managed to drive that car off that wall. Let's see what it looks like from his perspective.
Guys, Jairo Villa is in the pits while we're looking at that. Second place car came down. That's a great view from on board there.
And let's watch and see how Tatsuro, because I haven't actually got to watch this. Look at that.
one tire just dug in and he pulled it right off.
That is determination. All right. Well, a round of applause for Tatsuro Hashimoto for not giving up and driving that car off of a wall to get it back to the pits.
So Sean mentioned that second place driver came in. That's his scheduled pit stop for G-Trus SST Orange.
So this is going to promote Cecilia for Dar Contigo up into second. Spolstra still holding on to third, though. This is a nice race for Scuderia Leon Orange. There you can see Boris there in third. Ilya Molotovchikov is not the car that is directly behind him. That is lap traffic. There's Ilya a little bit down the road, who's still got Alexander Minea in the Radicals BMW, holding on to his tail feathers. So as we watch this train, this is, man, we were talking about a long train earlier, Bill. Look at that. This is going from, let's see, Ilya leads the way in fourth all the way down to, it looks like, Moritz Lohner for Husingfeld Core in ninth. So it looks like...
You saw the camera on Jose Maria Lopez there. For that team, that's our hardest charger. They're up. Where did they qualify? 42nd? They're up in 36 positions. Running 6 right now, qualified 42nd.
And Bill, you've been waiting for this. We're now finally starting to see lap traffic get mixed up with these guys.
Well, past the halfway mark now.
I hope you've got a lot of bear claws ready.
Yes. Back marker united. The meetings that we have there, we give bear claws to the guys who are good back markers. We watch this battle right here. We're going to be seeing one right now. They're coming up. And he's got his work cut out for him. It's Raul Diago. Currently running in 34th position for Dream Factory. He's got a nightmare coming his way. It'll be a little while before they get there, but it's a train of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cars he's going to have to let by.
Today's broadcast brought to you by the number 7.
Be a little ways till Raw gets these guys get to Raw.
Yeah, he's got some time, and actually I'm going to take a look at his lap times. He's the teammate of Jordi Clara. That's the Dream Factory machine. He's running a 48.3, 48.4, pretty consistent times. Ilya, 47.7, 47.8. So these guys are running them down by about half a second a lap or more.
And they're about 5 seconds back, so it'll be a while before they get there. And here's one peeling off right now out of that group. We talked about Jose Lopez. Well, he's going to bring it in right now. Again, this is early. I think there's one more stop from here.
Very early, actually, and it's not on the timing of what we would expect for the 3-stop strategy.
Yeah,
the 2-stop strategy. Yeah, this would be a 3-stop strategy. Our Russian driver having trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Having trouble on exit. Self-spin. I don't think he had any help there, but he gets around and doesn't hit anything. Able to keep the car clean.
Not what we're used to seeing from the curb surfers. They tend to be a very immaculate team.
Mm-hmm.
This was a driver error. Absolutely no contact.
It's going to drop back to 9th, Joe.
Pretty good recovery, though, Sean. He did a nice donut, got that thing back out there pretty darn smooth.
Yeah, the car was sliding, and he was able to get it stopped just in time before he hit one of those concrete barriers set out there in the sand.
Well, those are actually styrofoam, so...
Oh, they are? Okay, all right.
So it wouldn't have hurt anything. Even still, remember, he was running, what was it, 5th before? So 4 positions lost from that one spin. Mm-hmm. That tells you how tight things are, even after an hour and 45 minutes into this race.
Yeah, well, he was leading that train we were just talking about that was going to be coming up on Raul Diago. So when he spun, he lost all those positions.
Well, I think this is actually a bad thing for Alexander Minea. Remember, he was riding on the coattails of Molotovchikov for a number of laps. All right, we're apparently getting information that in the chat that the team even said, "There goes our draft." So,
boys, he's not that far back. He'll be there soon.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Perez or Moreno or one of these guys behind him try to overtake him if they feel like they've got better pace. As they close in, there we can see from the gearbox of Minea.
Honestly, Joe, if these guys were smart, running back on fresh tires, running behind them, he's not on the same cycle as Patrick Vieri, running in 35th position right now. with Trinity Motorsports, he might be the fastest car of all of those guys.
We're going to tell, as we got to, who is this moving by? Moreno overtaking Perez down into De La Roja, and he makes it clean. If you're just joining us, this is round 1 of the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series. Right now, Mitchell de Jong leading the way. Jesus Cecilia, 7.5 seconds back. He's in second place. Boris Spolstra currently holding down third, another 7 seconds back. So there's your podium at the moment. We're almost getting there to our 2/3 mark, and then we're going to see probably a lot of pit stops from anybody attempting this fabled two-stop strategy.
Yeah, the window, as they say, is closing, Joe. It's closing quickly here. We're the magic number about to come in play for several of these teams.
Make sure you don't get your fingers slammed by it as it closes. Make sure you can get to the end, or else your strategy will certainly be compromised.
Hey, all you need is 0.1 left in the tank, Joe.
And Alexander Minea gets overtaken by Moreno. Down into the first chicane. So I think the Iberica Racing team has decided they don't want to try and wait behind this BMW. They've got pace to lead the field. Let's see, what's Perez going to do? Is he going to try and overtake him? Stays in the draft, not looking for a pass down into De La Roja. Going to stay in line. Moreno, Minea, Perez, and Lohner. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th in that order.
Well, Sean, what's interesting, you have your top 2 drivers out there. Mitchell de Jong, he's done that the whole way so far, and so has Jesus Cecilia. So those guys are going to have to give it up. There's an 8-second gap between them. So basically, boy, that would be hard. Boy, it'd be hard for de Jong to get out of that car. I got 8 seconds. Let me just bring it home. But he's going to have to turn it over to his partner.
Yeah.
And then everything changes because it's no longer de Jong against Cecilia. It's 2 other drivers, you know?
Yeah, it is. And that means 2 different driving styles. And let's face it, 2 guys that haven't been in the car to this point. So it's a big X factor. You don't know what's going to respond. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how they're going to respond once they get in the car. So the car right now in much different condition than they practiced it in, because let's face it, you're now 2 hours, almost 2 hours into the race, and by the time they get in it, that car is, like I said, it's got 2 hours under it, and the conditions of that car are much different now than they were at the start of the race. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of difference a driver swap is going to make for those 2 machines that have been so fast all day.
And that's something we haven't touched on yet, Sean, is that the track has been changing underneath these cars. Rubber is being put down. And, I'm sorry, guys. Battle back here. Zerny getting pushed off course. I'm sorry, guys. I got off pace there. It was Alex Zerny having trouble. No, I think it's actually Luca Fioravanti, although
it was in a Ascari.
Yeah, this is in 21st. Let's get the replay of that because, yeah, there was some side-to-side contact coming out of Ascari. Here we're going to look at the replay here. Luca and Fabrice. Nice hard battling. It was looking good up until about here and gets a serious hip check off the course.
Yeah, and it was Zerny that got an eyeful of it. It all happened right out of his front windshield, actually. And that's why I was focused on him at the time. But yeah, that was a good hip check there, Joe.
I figured you were responding to the same thing I was because I saw that happen, and it made me sit up as well. But thankfully, all cars able to continue on, them vying for a top 20 position. Not the highest of spots, but when you get into the top split, every little position feels like an accomplishment.
Oh yes, it's certainly as you rattle them off and you pick them off one at a time, it's another badge of honor getting around this track and getting up through the field. And there's still a long ways to go. I always use that attitude that anything can happen to these guys in front of you. You never know. You got to keep digging. You're never out of an endurance race.
I always love that racing quote that Murray Walker originally said about F1, but definitely applies to endurance racing. Anything can happen, and it usually does. That battle up for fourth place still on, although drivers are starting to spread out just a little bit. Perez looking threatening on Manea, hasn't been able to overtake that BMW yet. And in fact, the BMW showing its strength through that chicane, absolutely gobbling it up and leaving Perez's Audi in the dust.
And if you can drop back just a few positions from there, it's a nice battle between Lecombe and Molotkovnikov. I blew it. Molotovchikov. I had my one chance at it. Here comes Ilya.
Oh, he's backing out of it, though. I think he's saving fuel. Meanwhile, I understand, was it 15th that we heard there's a battle going on here? We're looking back at 16th and 15th. Timu. Oh my goodness, I'm going to botch this one, Bill. Valky Jarvi. I think this is one of the drivers we saw about a year and a half ago in the World Cup. Timu being a Finnish driver. Those guys band together when it comes to World Cup time and really put on a showing. And I think, if we remember correctly, Valky Jarvi translates to White Lake. I might be forgetting that.
Yeah,
White Lake. There we go. It's much easier on our American tongues. Yeah.
It's a nice battle. 15th, 16th, and also Tim Ryan in there. That translates to Tim Ryan. And then Fran Rodriguez. And then in 19th, I'll take a shot at Tavanos Cerny.
He was at the back of different cars not that long ago. How did he wind up at the back of these guys? That's interesting. Wonder if he had a mistake somewhere, or maybe he took his next stop.
Guys, I gotta tell you real quick here. Mitchell DeYoung really, he's on it right now. I think it's no fuel saving at this point. I think he's nearing the end of that stint. He's digging right now. Really open it up on the Contigo Racing Team. Now he's got almost 10 seconds up the track.
Yeah, Sean, that's the same modus operandi we saw from him before at the end of the stint.
Yep.
I think he gets an idea of what he can do, and then all right, here's my mark. I got this much fuel. Let's go.
Of course, that was lap traffic that he worked by. That's Damian Gomez-Cerdeira.
And I'm sure his partner's going to be happy with that, whatever lead you can give me.
We're going to hand him a good race car, that's for sure.
Nice and clean.
6 more minutes till we hit the 2/3 mark, and we expect a lot of pit stops to start unfolding about that time. And I'll tell you what, though, Sean, that'll really tell us who can make it to the end when we see guys start to come in and when they come in. We see our third-place driver, Boris Spolstra. Relatively quiet race for Boris. He's been in battles a couple times, but otherwise, for this second third of the race, he's just kind of been by his own.
Yeah. Hey, listen, not a bad place to be, but you could use a little help every now and then. The advantage here, taking care of the car, right? And keeping her on track, and hopefully going to keep it in the same conditions to hand over to your partner when you get here to the second pit stop.
Well, he's been able to stay ahead of that train that's coming behind him, that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th train.
What would Boris do if his car was out of tune? I'm sure right now he could use a little help from his friends. But there's none showing at the moment.
It's good. It's good. I saw what you did there.
Right now, 4th place behind, about 6 seconds back. That's Moreno for Iberica Racing. They're a team that really has brought themselves to the front. Look at this, Bill. 20th to 4th. You talk about a jump. A lot of those, the drivers that go from, about 45th to 20th, they have attrition on their side. 20th to 4th, you're hustling.
Well, you're passing some tough competition there to get up to 4th spot.
And you're hustling every lap.
Yeah.
You're not taking any laps off, obviously. That is so important. I'm watching the battle right now for 15th place. Timu Valka-Jarvi going to try and take it away, and he does it heading down to the first chicane.
Mr. Whitelake moving himself up yet another position for Glacier Racing BES number 3. And that was Mikko Melkila for Jim Racing Black that he overtook. Another Finnish driver. I'll have to send our Google Translate buddy over to figure out what that one translates to.
And
Tim Ryan just behind him.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, Tim Ryan also in that mix trying to take a position himself. It's the ERA Logitech G, number 7, 2016 for Tim Ryan.
We're hearing that stands for Evolution Racing Australia for the ERA. Sounds much more iconic. We need to get these teams to pick some nice iconic names.
Oh, they got to get a PR guy in there and give me some better names. Some of these are brutal. I did a race last night. Sean and I did one with Flying Tortoise Racing. That's what we need, It's a picture of a tortoise with a rocket on its back.
Simple and memorable.
Yeah.
All right, Tim Ryan closing up on the back of Mikko. Down into the Parabolica, looking around to the outside. Can he go for the over-under, maybe?
Gonna take a look at it. No, not this time.
Doesn't get the launch, no.
Nope. Bill, I got several emails this morning from PETA regarding the whole flying tortoise thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to rethink that. And Tim Ryan making that move now here at the end. Down into the chicane. Tim Ryan going to get up to 16.
Meanwhile, let's check in on that Kronos team. I believe it was Fran Rodriguez who hopped in the car.
Yeah, he hopped in for Jan de Valle. I had big hopes for this team. Remember, they had to do that. They were running up front with the 4 guys. They had to do that early stop. Seems like a long time ago when we talked about that. They did that early stop about 10 minutes into the race. Thought maybe they could go the distance. Things haven't worked out so well for them. Running in 19th now. Really not in the picture. 3rd place qualifying given away. Still don't know why they had to do that pit stop so early.
Yeah, all we can do is theorize. But they are going to gain a few positions, even if momentarily, because we are a minute and a half away from that magic 2-hour mark. Now, we haven't seen anybody really coming in quite yet, have we?
No, I would think the ones that came in earlier, they're on that 3-stop strategy where they broke it up. So we're due any minute, Sean, right?
Our leaders are out there right now on basically working lap 32 on this run. De Jong, Cecilia, Spolstra.
Honestly,
it's basically
almost everybody.
Yeah, pretty much the top 10 right now, all on that base strategy.
Well, there is one fly in the ointment on that one. Right now I see Alex Minea has 2 stops for Radicals Online. Now they've got to make one more. I'm looking at their laps, and it's definitely, they definitely require a 3-stop strategy here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
seeing
Joe,
one all the
actually,
way through here, Joe.
Yeah, I'm seeing one for Manea also. I'm wondering
All
if
right.
maybe we got some conflicting data.
Timing and scoring's lying to me again.
I think it's the only one on 2. Looking at Kronos, the one we just talked about. And then right behind them, G-Tros SST Orange.
Now, the interesting thing is that when you talked about a fly in the ointment, that could be Boris Spolstra. Little curious. His last pit stop, well, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Second place car, it looks like it's coming in. Jesus Cecilia is in. Dark Contigo Racing Team making that pit stop now, guys.
Yeah, it's busy time in the pits right now. Here, they're all going to be coming soon.
And Spolstra comes in as well. The Mercedes has said enough. This should take him to the end. Now, is he going to take tires? We believe, am I understanding right, that Boris did not take tires in the first one?
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. And he's, boy, let's see. Is he going to take him? Is that car going to go up on jacks or not?
Our Contigo team switches drivers. David Alexis Jordan now in for that machine.
Now, Sean, the team that can run the longest and still come out with track position competitively will have an advantage because I don't think you can run a full hour flat out. So the team that can get there will be able to, in theory, run faster laps.
For most of the stint, yes.
Right.
I don't think even at less than an hour, I don't think you can go flat out the whole way on the same map. I really don't.
Well, the good news is for our fans who don't like fuel strategy races, I believe this is the only one that's really going to have that feature, with Monza really sucking up the fuel. So we see Tim Ryan in a battle here.
Yeah, certainly our experience, Joe, when we took our crack at it last year. The leader is in. Mitchell de Jong is coming in. But what I was alluding to there is that this really seems to be the big fuel strategy race. The rest of them all kind of fall in line, and strategy becomes a lot less of a factor in those.
Mitchell hits his stall, clean on his marks, and that VRS Coan to SimSport, and David Williams is in.
Here they come.
Looks like our new leader is going to be Moritz Lohner. However, he has yet to take his second stop. Husingfeld Core Motorsports. Those guys usually top contenders in many other series we've seen Husingfeld throw a car in. Probably the only reason we can even say Husingfeld at this point.
Well, some of us can say it.
Also, Julian Grunestel, MSP Drivers Home 1. He's going to inherit second place. Still, that VRS Coanda car is stationary. Looks like Ilya Molotovchikov has come in for the curb surfers. And is he going to stay in the car? No. Ozrakovsky is getting in the car. Wonder if they picked the two most difficult names that they could just for us this round.
All right, so it's Grunestel and Lohner. They both keep their cars out there, and
look at David Williams after taking over that car. He is thrown into the deep end. All kinds of traffic all around him. In fact, the car in front looks quite damaged. And that car behind them is for position, so the battle is on. That's Alexander Manea. A little bit of a defense from the car next to them. Williams having to deal with it, but he gets by.
Husingfeld Core Motorsports is in the pits. That's Moritz Lohner bringing it in, guys.
Little ways back, second place, Julian Grunestel. Is he going to come in now? He should be on a similar strategy.
Yeah, he's keeping it down
he
the
does.
inside. He's in. Grunestel's in.
Now here's what's interesting. You look back to third, that is Fran Rodriguez for Chrono Sim Racing. Now, they still have to make another stop.
Right. They should be able to run another maybe 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, they're gonna stay out. Fran's gonna keep that car on track. They, like you said, Soup, they've got another couple laps in them,
Yeah.
2 to 3. That's gonna give them the lead of the race.
Remember, they were the 3rd fastest qualifier, which it's too bad.
Now, let's see how much distance they can put between themselves and the rest of the field here as they now all making their way out of their pit stops. Only about 7.5, maybe right about 7 seconds back to second place. Cristobal J. Lopez in the G-Tross SST orange machine there.
That's the other car that's on the 3-stop strategy as well.
Correct.
Am I correct on that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're doing it a little differently. They're doing it in four equal segments throughout the race.
The one silver lining that you could say for Rodriguez and Duvall in that Kronos machine is that they knew from early on they can run flat out. There's no other way to take this. So I have to imagine they're pushing as hard as they can the entire way through. We've already seen some aggressive racing of them trying to make up positions down into the heavy braking zones.
Well, it sure is great to see that McLaren up front. I got to be honest with you, Joe. It gives me kind of a warm fuzzy.
Well, you might want to look a little bit... oh, wait, no, now we're looking at Chrono Sim Racing. You're right, it is a McLaren. We were looking... I think that was Lopez in second that we were looking at. That was the Audi that we had on screen.
It was, my bad. Now we're on board there, Fran.
There we go.
When you see the fire, you know you're on board with the McLaren.
That's true. Oh, and there they go.
And there we go. They were digging pretty hard. They might have been able to get one more lap out of it, but no reason to risk it at this point.
Real fascination is how much space that BSR Coranda lost. Remember, that was your leader, De Young. I mean, all that, he had a big gap, and it's all gone now, isn't it, boys?
Did he just go 3 wide on screen, though? Working his way through traffic? Trying to see what happened there. Almost 3 wide. I think these are lapped cars that he worked his way through, but a little bit of a scary moment, I'm sure, having to trust that those guys will be able to stop in time.
Guys, Van de Waal got back in the car there for Chrono Sim Racers.
So a third driver then for Kronos.
All right, I said John Duvall.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Van de Waal.
I did. That was a Freudian slip. Yeah, no, it was John Duvall back in the car.
All right. Doing nothing for Americans' reputations for being able to handle language. Let's take a look at where we sit with our top guys.
This is going to be fascinating. The battle for basically second position, but it's going to be first in a minute, is really close between Williams and Minea and Lohner. Yeah.
There we're watching Williams on screen. He's still 7 seconds behind Lopez, the GTR OS SST orange machine. Not sure if he's being maybe slowed up just a little bit by this traffic that he's having to work his way through.
Yeah, but we don't rule, because the leader is going to be pitting. The G-Tross.
That's true.
The real battle is back here with Williams for second, third, and fourth right now. Can Williams get away? There's traffic separating those guys.
Now into the final third of this race. If you're just joining us, welcome to Monza, where we're watching the first round of the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Your leader currently, Cristobal J. Lopez for GTR OS SST Orange. We believe he has yet to make another stop. David Williams for VRS Coanda has been leading much of the race, but currently sitting in second place and trying to hold off Alexander Minea for Radicals Online, who is in third. Moritz Lohner right behind them for Husingfeld Core, and Sergi Lorenz rounds out your top 5 for GM Racing Yellow.
And even, Sergio Lorenz running there for GM Racing Yellow. They're in the hunt as well. This is darn exciting. Top 5 within probably, well, I'll give you the time, probably 8 seconds to tell.
13 I'm seeing on my screen.
There you go.
Yeah, still a lot of really good battles going on out here for position. I mean, you can even go as far back as right now, battle for 34th position. I mean, Juan Segura in for Euphoria Racing Green now sitting there in 34th place. He just got back by Alex Zerny. Those two having a pretty spirited battle. Again, every one of these position counts, and you can find these battles all over the track right now.
Yeah, let me set the stage one more time because I keep throwing the lead car out because I know it has to do another pit stop. So when I said the top 5, I'm really talking 2 through 6 right now. And that interval is 7 seconds between 2nd and 6th with 50 minutes to go.
You think these guys don't do their homework and do their prep as we got a battle for P2? Third, I guess.
It is, I guess we don't count the lead yet.
That was Lohner having a go at Minea. Couldn't do it into the Della Rosia chicane. But the point I was making before, if you think that these guys can just hop in these cars and try and get to the front like this, so much prep, so much practice, strategy, study, doing the research, making sure, seeing what the actual pace of the car can be. Sean, I have to imagine these guys probably did some full-length runs at some point.
Oh yeah, certainly iRacing great about having those practice sessions up. But yes, you've got to practice. You've got to practice that. You have to get an idea where you're going to be for fuel, what your consumption is at different maps and different fuel maps, and that you really got to work on that. You've got to plan it out. I mean, for a successful run at it, you can get out of here and have fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But I got a feeling most of these guys here in this top split, a little more fun at stake, a little bit of pride at stake too, and that's where the work comes in. He who does the best homework is probably going to be somewhere near the top of the field at the end of the race.
We've been watching this continued battle for third. Lohner keeps peeking out, takes another look down into the Rettifilio, but he's a little bit too far back, and he cannot shake Minea. That Radicals machine just steady as she goes.
Again, Williams in an Audi, and then you got the BMW that is really being pestered. This Audi,
Whoa.
look at this. Now the BMW
right up on top of him. Go
should
ahead.
do well through the chicanes there, and probably do okay all the way around here through the Lesmos. But then I would expect that the Audi is going to eat them up going into Parabolica. Let's see if I...
Well, and critically for Moritz, he is staying on top of him through this section. That's really what he needs, like you said, to give himself the run that he wants in that Audi. Just not quite enough. He closes in, taking a look yet again. And, you know, the difficult thing, I have to imagine, even if he gets alongside him, Bill, these BMWs are notorious for being strong on the brakes.
Now, here you go. Now, is he going to take a defensive line? He's going to leave it open to him? Yeah, there it is. But it's not over. Yeah, it's over.
Could he be thinking about an over-under? Or maybe did he give up the ghost to get another draft?
Maybe to get another draft here. The BMW definitely going to need it. Right,
he's got to run. Oh, he's lifting. He's absolutely lifting. He wanted this to happen.
And remember, they're battling for points. This is a 6-race series. He's stuck in that BMW for the other 5 races, but this is great. If he can do well here, get a come down with a 4th place in the BMW here at Monza, you got to be happy
That'll
with
help.
that.
Oh, yeah. Looks like VEC Blancpain has come in for their final stop. Tony Repoussard has stepped into the car.
Sean, we are sure that the leader has to come in one more time, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he's out there. He's out there 13 extra laps. He's got to come in.
It's too. There. I estimate there's about 20, just over 25 laps left in this race. He's been out there for almost 20 now, and I don't think that can happen. If it does, we are breaking that car down here at the end of the race. I want to see some data.
Take a look
baby.
at that one, huh?
I want to download that data.
Made a 7/8 scale car and set it out there.
Yeah, something like that.
I saw a little bit of a complaint from Yassine Babert, and I'm doing some research to see if I can figure out if something happened to him, but I'm not seeing anything, to be honest. Oh, no, I actually think I found it. It looks like almost got into it with Vladimir Ozratovsky. Down into the first chicane. A little bit of contact between those cars. That was maybe about a lap and a half ago.
Yeah, remember Vladimir's trying to make up time when his partner
for a
did
spin.
that spin.
Yeah.
That car is fast, so Molotovchikov spun the car, so Vladimir got back to run that down.
I think it was just a slight incident, though. I don't think those guys really took too much damage from that. There you can see, let's take a look at the back of Vladimir's car. Yeah, that looks pretty clean. Unless there's some unusual damage on the front of Yassine's machine, which I believe is an Audi. Yeah, those cars both look pretty clean. I think they got away from that one scot-free.
Well, up here up front, got an eye on David Williams there in second. We just talked about Cristobal Lopez and G-Tross SST Orange needing to pit still. Williams got great pace right now, and better pace than the person chasing him in Moritz Launer. He's got a second, just almost a full second faster than him.
Right on board with Williams. And that Coanda machine just ahead. Cristobal getting a nice little draft there from traffic as he sneaks his way past Ludwig Guidi for the virtual drivers BGT.
You talked about Lohner there in the Hussenfeld Core Motorsports car. Remember, that car is from 25th up to 3rd. They've made up 22 spots.
Yeah, it's quite an effort in that as long as they can keep the car on track and clean to the end, they've got a shot at a podium finish. That's work, brother. I mean, that is some serious work.
Well, not just that, but what we think effectively is going to be second instead of third.
Right, second place, yeah.
Well, consider this too, because we still have 40 minutes left of racing to go. And as we've seen, there can be unpredictable things that happen. If something happened to David Williams, that means that they went from 20th to 1st even. So if you think qualifying, it's important in this series, but if you think it's the end-all be-all, these guys are showing it isn't necessarily the case.
Yeah, you talk about unpredictable things that can happen. What we saw to happen to Hashimoto earlier in the race. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
innocent bystander, and all of a sudden, race ended.
And a little bit of fuel advantage will go to Hussenfeld. They came in a lap later, so they should be able to put the throttle down a little more. Interval 7.1 seconds from Williams back to Lohner right now.
Oh, and with 40 minutes left in the race, that is not an insurmountable cap at all.
Fans of Tatsuhiro Hashimoto's team, unfortunately, those guys did retire. They did not return to the track after that blow.
I hate to steal the drama here, but the best news probably for Williams is he took tires on his stop. And I'm not sure if that's the case for the cars chasing.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on that. Looking at the pit difference on the times there, about a 30-second difference on all those guys. So I think you hit the nail on the head there, Sue.
The team that be chasing the drivers, again, it's third and fourth on track right now, but it's really second and third once the cycle is done. The team that looks like they took tires that might be able to run them down is the team running in fifth position right now.
Tell you what, David Williams just having a pretty exciting trip around a couple of back markers there as they got through Lesmo 1 and out of Lesmo 2. He had to get by Romano Baranek there in 37th and Nestoras Kiyosoglu in 29th.
Nice job on that name, by the way, Sean.
And actually, I talked about the team in fifth. Let's take a quick look at Dar Contigo Racing Team. Contigo.
Currently sitting in fifth. Not a bad job for them.
They just got around the team of Jim Racing Yellow. They just got around that team. And they have fresh tires.
Let's go back to the mid-pack and give some love to some of the...
Cristobal Lopez is in. Leader has given up the lead to David Williams.
All right. So your new order will be David Williams, Moritz Lohner, Alexander Minea, David Jordan, and Sergi Lorenz for your top 5. Let's go back to Wendell Parra, though. This is back in 23rd position. He's been closing in on the back of Miguel Neto for Radicals Online Pirates. And I'm wondering, I'm not sure if he's just holding station or if he's setting him up for a pass and waiting for the right opportunity here. And I know Sean and Bill are always saying they're back markers. Well, I'd say I'm solidly lower mid-pack, so got to give some love to these guys.
All right, update on Cristobal Lopez. He stays in the car for G-Tross SST Orange. That's a 57.6 second stop. Cone to cone, and that puts him there back in 12th. Only 32 seconds in the stall. So obviously just taking fuel there, guys.
Just to follow up, Joe, on the Backmarker United bylaws, none of these guys are allowed in the... They may be a backmarker here in this race. That does not qualify you as a backmarker.
They'd still whomp every single one of us on any day, probably. Yeah.
But what's interesting is it's probably not a skill set that they're used to. Well, in a certain way, there's something to be learned there. I'd like to point out to keep an eye on the number 43 machine, the Dar Contigo Racing Team. David Jordan in there right now. These guys are coming. They're about 3.5 seconds behind third place team of Radical Online, and there's only another car length behind Husenfeld. I'm going to think that these guys are going to be in second position by the time this race is over.
Well, there's your old phrase that you love to say, though, Bill. It's one thing to pass, or it's one thing to catch someone. It's a whole nother to pass them.
It's like milking a rooster. The hard part starts after you catch it.
And especially, they're coming, but 36 minutes left to go. By the time they get there, I'm guessing, maybe 20 minutes left in this race? That's when guys are really going to be fighting hard to hold whatever position they have.
The reason I feel so confident in my prediction is they took fresh rubber. The cars running in second and third right now are double stinting those tires. I just don't know what's going to be left here in the next 20 minutes. That's the advantage that David Williams has right now. So he's beginning to put himself... Well, car is spun in front of Williams, right? On the track,
That
it
is
looks like the
Martin
29th.
Solari, Kronos International, 29th place. Oh, he had some help. Miguel Garcia. Oh, actually, we're going to see as he spins him into the air.
Ouch.
I think Miguel was obviously blameless in that one. He was trying to take avoiding action as Martin lost it right in front of him down into the Ascari chicane. Here we're going to ride on board with Martin. This is going to be a wild ride here in a moment. Woo.
Yeah, and that's going to be heavy damage on that Kronos International team. Car crab walking around the track now, trying to get back to the pit stall. He's going to make it. He was already around the track, but car is heavily damaged, guys.
Right, but here's the point that Joe was making earlier, where you never know what's going to happen. That car that Garcia was in, that was 2 cars ahead of Williams. That could have just as easily been your race leader right there.
Exactly. Well, one for the highlight reel for Martin Solari. Unfortunately, not the reel that he hoped for. So we switch up to Garcia. Able to continue on. Must have been a bit of net code because I'm not seeing any damage, and that looked like, I mean, you send a car flying, you're going to have to hit him with some force.
Oh! Trouble for 8th place, Vladimir. I'm gonna.
Come on, go for it. Go for it. Come on, don't give up on it.
Ozertrovsky.
Ozerowski,
okay. Yeah, sorry guys, I got off that. The trouble was actually in Curva Grande. I think maybe he got a little hot through there and got to the outside and
that's not a place they usually lose the car. Did he maybe cut the first chicane a little bit and had to give time back? I think that's what happened. He just pulls over.
Yeah, well, maybe that was a pullover. Yeah, and Bay Bird just gets right by him. Yeah, that might have been a cut course there, Joe. You're absolutely right.
Now, usually we don't have to deal with them as much at this circuit because those tall sausage curbs tend to punish these cars, and as pristine as you want to keep them, you don't see guys really getting as greedy, but I'm sure there's been a few drivers punished by that. Meanwhile, Bill, look at this.
Well, that's not a pass for position. Now he's behind him. So Jordan just got around Sheena Machime. I did that for Sean. I didn't give up on it.
Shinya Machime?
Yeah. But now here we go. I must admit, this chicken is going to be tasty because it's fat and plump and not very fast because Jordan got to this rooster really quick. Now let's see if he can melt it.
Well, nothing doing down into Della Rogia. Minea holds on to that third. Through the first Lesmo, just about dead even. Could be waiting for the right opportunity now that he's run him down.
And this is really a battle for second as Lohner's up there in front.
Does Lohner require another pit? Are they off
No,
strategy?
these guys are all good to go.
Yeah, everybody up here good to go at this point.
This is for third then. This isn't for second because Lohner.
Well, Lohner is second position right now, and it's.
Oh, you're thinking?
I'm predicting Jordan is going to be around here. Yeah, he's
Gotcha.
going to get both of these guys pretty quick. And it's okay. They got track position by not doing tires, and that's fine. I think they're safe. It's about 4 seconds back to the next guy who's coming. That's Perez.
Oh, we might see it here as Minea comes onto the front stretch, the weak point of this BMW. Here comes Jordan, looks to the inside. Minea doesn't even fight. Or is he going to into the braking zone? They're going to have a car in front of them. That's Lohner. And this is where I wonder, Sean, maybe, if you're Minea, you don't have the top speed, you'll let Jordan through. When Jordan starts to attack Lohner, you try and stay right on his tail and maybe jump Lohner in the process.
That's exactly right. That's the opportunity you look for. It's all about opportunity at this point and taking advantage of one, and that's what he's got to hope for. He's got another Audi right behind him. He's got to be careful.
Of course, that Audi directly behind them, Shinya Michimi, is a lapped car. You have to go a few cars back to get to 5th, Sergi Lorenz, who is about 4.5 seconds back from these guys.
And he's on fresh tires too, but doesn't quite have the pace that Jordan has right now. Here we go. No.
And this is Audi versus Audi. This is going to be a very different beast for Jordan.
I would think it would be under braking here if he can get a good run out of Parabolica and then do it under braking into that first chicane.
Takes a little look down at the Parabolica. Gets back into line. He's going to want to get a good launch off of here. Tries to square off the corner. Looks more like he just missed the apex, actually. So we ride from the chopper. Let's follow this battle down to the first chicane. What's going to happen?
I think he's didn't like it.
He's lifting, yeah. Not the chance that he wanted. Less than half an hour to go now. David Williams looking like your solid leader. 12 seconds over second place, who we've been watching. Moritz Lohner, who has within a second behind him both third place in David Jordan and fourth place in Alexander Manea.
And they have to be careful because behind these guys is a battle for 29th between Shinya and Juan. You want to take him, Sean? No, you want to take him, Joe?
Segara and Michimi? I'll take that.
There you go. Nice going, buddy. So the only reason I bring that up is you got to watch out for what Segara is going to do back there last in line.
Now, if you are the crew chief for Husingfeld, Sean, I guess at this point you're hoping you've got a driver in there who likes to lead, because we know there's drivers who like to attack and who like to defend, and some don't like both.
Yeah, I want the driver who likes to lead right now, but also has a penchant for the attack. Because David Williams right now is pretty solid, and at some point, Moritz Lohner is going to have to pick it up if he wants a shot here. We are now into the less than 30 minutes to go, and I would say it's time to boogie.
Get your dancing shoes on, folks, because I think we're going to see a battle. These guys just staying in line right now, but some patience definitely playing into them. However, Jordan gets a great exit coming out of the first chicane. Oh, is that a lap? No, excuse me. No, that's Moritz Lohner that got a good exit, and that's a lapped car of Nestoris Kiosoglu, who's letting everyone through. Nicely done. Get a little bit of the way. Slots into line perfectly through there.
Oh, there it is. There's the mistake.
Oh, boy.
Jordan looking to the
Watch
inside,
the
coming through the first lesson. The car spins behind them.
That's
Stay on this battle, though.
Yeah, that's Kiosoglu. Kiosoglu gets off the track, gets hit from behind.
Looks like Jordan was able to get it done, but unfortunately for Manea, he was not able to follow his way through. Now we can get a chance to go look at that replay.
Yeah, Ms. Michi.
And look at this. The BMW gets around the McLaren. Oh, is it going to be? Yeah, he finishes it. Around the Audi, sorry.
All right, now the battle is done. Let's go and take a look at that incident with Nestoris.
So what happened?
He got some help, actually.
Yeah, this is actually a pass for position. I think this is the lap car they got around. Then they get back into the Segara and Mishimi battle.
Yeah. Shinya got into the back of Nestoris coming into the first Lesmo, and that's what sent him off the track. Now, Shinya, did he lose a position? Yes, he did. Juan Segara got by Shinya.
And like I said, and Segara is it's not done. As now the Audi gets back around, as Lohner gets back around Mania again. But Shigara is fast, and he can't wait because Mashimi is back there pestering him as well.
And Bill, that's the second time in recent time in this race we've seen action unfold very close to our leaders.
Yep.
How many times before the lightning finally strikes?
So now, Sean, we can get, now that car's got around there, it's Williams has 14 seconds to defend over the next 25 minutes against Carr on the similar tire strategy.
Yeah, and got the gap up to almost 15 seconds, Soup. Going to be awful hard to catch now. I mean, he's got pretty clean, I got to be honest, he's got pretty clean track in front of him.
What's fascinating in this battle is you have cars in different agendas. I know right now you have Miguel Garcia out there running to 27th position. What team does he race for there? He races for BSR, J. Blanca Team Black. So he's running in 27th. And then he has the two cars that are coming up to lap him. But as soon as those cars lap him, that means he's in a battle with Segura and Mashimi.
One of the difficulties there of being a back marker is being able to figure out how to let people through without letting your opponents get right up on top of you. Meanwhile, let's look at 8th position. Yassine Baber currently leading the Curb Surfers, yet still has not been able to catch Team GTNF. With these guys within a second of one another.
Yeah, the Curb Surfers aren't going anywhere. They've been hanging out, keeping this battle strong here for several laps, and that McLaren not ready to retire yet. It's still looking at possible position in front of them there to take down for the Curb Surfers.
Both those cars did tires the last stop, so they should be fairly equal.
I have to imagine, though, Ozyorskowski and Molotovchikov are probably sitting there wondering what could have been. Lost, I would imagine, about 7 seconds. Which would mean I'm actually seeing just about 7 seconds ahead of them. Would have been 7th place, Sudiera Leon Orange, Bartolot currently in that car. So maybe it would have been 2 positions that the Curb Surfers could have been higher. A little bit farther down, Rico Alatalo for Glacier Racing. He's got some threat from Kevin Rodding and Suderia Leon Black just behind them. Not close enough to make anything happen quite yet.
Oh my goodness. We got to go to 4th, guys. We got to go here to 4th position. These things are going to happen. Here comes, this is the battle behind. That's Manea getting into it with Garcia.
No, that's Garcia and Machimi, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Garcia and Machimi.
Yeah.
But now coming up, the reason I bring this up, because Sergio Lawrence is coming for Jim Racing Yellow.
And this position between Garcia and Mashimi is actually for position.
It is.
Machimi manages to sneak by into the Della Roggia. Let's go up to Lohner as he tries to work his way past Segara. Nothing doing through the first Lesmo. Has to wait patiently up to the second. Is Segara going to pull over and let him through here? Remember, Segara is a lapped car. He is not required to pull over. However, he cannot intentionally block these guys.
And then, Sean, the last car in this train is Iberica Racing Ben Q, and that's with Moreno in the wheel right now. So there's a battle. There's a battle for cars on the lead lap and a battle for cars one lap down right now.
Yes, and and they're all fighting for position. It's very dangerous, almost taking us back to the start of the race when everybody's fighting for the same piece of real estate. It's going to be pretty sketchy from here on to the finish in just about 20 minutes.
So Dmitry Gortsky there just got passed by Julian Moreno. Now that means Moreno is, well, he was going to be right behind. Now here goes Moreno inside of Garcia. So that's put Moreno now back behind Lorenz. That's a battle for fifth.
"20 minutes left to go, and we've got multiple positions in the top 10 that are swapping around. Drivers trying to pressure one another into a mistake. Now, interestingly, Lohner still has not been able to overtake Segura. Remember, he's trying to just lap him, and look at that. Has a horrible time coming through the De La Rosa chicane. Manea smells blood in the water, gets right up on that rear spoiler, coming through Lesmo 1. No opportunity there. Could he get himself a draft coming out of the Lesmo 2? Segura has worked his way a little bit away from these guys after that mistake from Lohner. What is Manea going to do? Is he going to try and get aggressive? Remember, this is for a podium position. Starts to reel him in, down into the break-in, and he lets it go.
Yeah, that is a great battle for the podium there, and I got a feeling that we're going to be following that one right to the end, Joe. Not seeing any give up in Alexander Manea and the Radicals Online Steel Series car.
Sounds like fifth is having a battle.
Got him. Yeah, just as Marino back there and Lentz.
So move Moreno into the top 5. The Ren's down to 6th. Let's jump back up to Lohner, still working on this traffic. I'm not sure if he's frustrated in there or if he's intentionally trying to follow, maybe still concerned about saving fuel. Would have thought that he would have made quicker work of Segura.
What is happening now? Now that Moreno has got around Lentz, Moreno is coming. So these guys have got to get around Segura, or they're going to be facing another challenge for position.
Here he goes. He's pulling off to the side now. Lets both of them through.
Finally.
There we go. Beautiful job.
Not going to let the next guy through, though, because that's that battle for position.
So what I spoke of earlier, trying to find that spot where you don't have to lose a position.
Yeah, and really, great job there by Juan Segura. I mean, he really didn't hold those guys up. They had to do a little bit of work to get around him, but he's able to hold his position, and let's face it, it's going to be close between him and Shania Machimi here down to the end.
Maybe for 26th place, but every position counts here, and I'm sure there's quite a bit of ego on the line between these two.
Yeah, and they've got another position battle right behind them. Guys on the lead lap here in Julian Rodriguez Moreno for Iberica and Sergio Lorenz.
Right, Marino is actually faster than the cars he's trying to catch. He's not going to want to spend too much time there with Machimi and Segura.
Well, after just pulling off that move, getting around Lorenz finally, he certainly doesn't want to give it back. And so far, he's putting out a pretty good distance between him and Lorenz. But yeah, he's got to be careful here how he works with this traffic.
And then maybe next lap around we can watch this BMW that Manea has. What he does is he gets a great run off of Parabolica, gets in the draft behind that Audi of Lohner. He's able to run him down, and then under braking, he has a real shot to make the pass into the first chicane. This is really some good racing here with 16 minutes to go.
All right, Moreno has worked his way past Machimi. Only one car between himself and 4th place Manea. That is Segura. Segura, however, if he's watching his F3 box, probably sees his competitor Machimi right behind Moreno. I don't think he's going to be as willing to try and lift and let him through. Or if he will, it's going to be extremely marginal.
Yeah, and Moreno is digging right now. He was the fastest
here he
car on
goes.
the track that last lap, Joe, and he makes the move. Gets by
Managed to sneak
Segura.
through. And Segura holds a position yet again. Boy, credit to Juan here. He's just been making
Absolutely.
incredibly smart moves, both polite to the front runners while still retaining position. This is a Class A driver.
But now Marino has nobody between him and the car's running up there for that podium spot. Now watch the BMW. Go up to the BMW here. Go up to the battle for third. Look at the run that the BMW gets out of Parabolica. Then he gets in here. Let's see if he dives into the corner to outbrake him here. No, not
he
going to do
lifted.
it this time.
Here comes Moreno into the picture, filling up the mirror of Manea.
1, 2, 3. That is third, fourth, and fifth. Lohner, Manea, Moreno. 15 minutes left to go on the clock. And we don't know who our final podium place is going to be. And it's even a three-way battle. Incredible stuff after 3 hours of racing. And let's see, how many different makes of car do we even have here? Are they
we
three
got
different
all-
makes?
We have
Haven't seen
all
a
four
Ford.
here.
Uh,
Yeah, no, there actually are. There were a couple Fords in the field. I saw them. I don't remember who it was now at this point.
But even still, we've got Lohner and an Audi, I believe. We've got Manea in a BMW. And Moreno is in a Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken. Is that? Yeah, look at that. Wow.
Well, here's the podium. Come get it, guys.
And I have a feeling that's exactly what Lohner is thinking in that Audi. If you want it, you got to take it away. Starting to get to the point where they're checking the fuel, looking to see, as the strategy worked out, do we have enough to get to the end? Do we have enough to fight even?
You know, the McLaren was considered the car of choice. There's not one in the top 5. Oh, here, look at this pass.
Oh,
Here comes the
we go.
BMW. That's his spot.
They like that braking zone, just chops him off at the nose, doesn't give him any room whatsoever. Move Manea up into third, Lohner down to fourth. Moreno just stalking him behind.
Sean, the good news for the BMW is he made the pass. The bad news is it's going to be a lot easier for that Audi to do it coming back on him, though. Because the BMW out in front is not nearly as effective.
No, not as much. I don't know. I almost think you got to save that. You got to save that move maybe for the last lap.
Well, what he's doing now, he's trying to. Man, he's really off into the dirt. Manea trying to get as much distance as he can through the twisty section. Joe, we already saw this pass Lohner get around him once out of Ascari before he got to Parabolica.
I wonder if it's coming down to fuel now, though. Look at how he's leaving him behind.
And here goes
Look
the
at
pass
this.
now. Yeah.
Down to the inside, it's Moreno into Ascari. Sneaks his way through with the slightest of margins. Move Moreno into fourth now.
Well, Sean, we said you couldn't run full throttle the whole way for 56 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could be that
Exactly.
BMW maybe less thirsty than those Audis right now.
All right, so for those who love strategy, you're wondering where our highest three stopper is? Well, look to 11th place, Cristobal Lopez. That is for GTROS SST Orange. And I think the next one down is our own Johan Duvall for Kronos, 17th. I'm sure that's not where they wanted after starting in third. Got to be disappointment for them.
I'm thinking I'm starting to believe that theory that maybe there was a mistake there at the beginning of the race. Guys, Manea, getting past. Oh, it's a battle.
Side by side down into De La Roja. Moreno has the inside of the first half. And he's going to get it done. Moreno down to the podium now.
Wow.
And those guys started in...
Way
am I
back
seeing
there.
this correctly? Yes. He started in 20th.
20th, yep.
Whew.
And that's another Iberian driver there on the podium. It's our Contigo Racing Team. That's David Alexis Jordan there. Another Iberia driver. So Iberia is showing up strong here today.
Europe in general, because David Williams, hailing from the UK and I Club.
Two hours and 50 minutes of racing and 23 cars still on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
pool of talent there, Sue.
Here we see our leader, David Williams, less than 10 minutes to go. There was little doubt that he would be the dominant force this race, himself and Michel de Jong. That VRS Coanda Sim Sport Audi looking just flawless out there.
Yeah,
Well-
really since the very end of the first stint, right, Sean? With about 50 minutes to go when de Jong started to put it down and distance himself, it's been all them
Yeah.
the whole way from then.
Started to pour on the coals, if you will. Found that extra speed. This battle for third, not entirely over, although Manea dropping back a little bit. Lohner much closer to Manea. Loses slightly some time coming through the De La Roja chicane.
Well, the problem we have calling it is we can't look at their fuel needle. We have no idea how much anybody has left, what they can do.
Remember that battle that we saw between Ozertovsky and I believe it was Babert. Well, Babert slipped back, interestingly. In fact, he's been overtaken by Andrew Rodriguez and Bartolot. And Vladimir now leads in that Kurt Surfers McLaren in 7th place.
7th, 8th, and 9th running right behind each other. Oh,
Mike?
too. Yeah.
Might be a little bit of a letdown for the Curb Surfers team today. I mean, they had a good qualifying effort, started up there on the front row, and well, gonna have to probably settle for 7th at this point. Jim Racing Yellow going to be a little hard to catch. They're about 15 seconds up the track, just under.
Sean, I think this is proof right there that to win these races, you need to just be flawless. Any little mistake is going to cost you dearly.
And that's our top McLaren.
Ooh, a little bit of a battle behind them for position.
Oh, they touched.
Rodriguez, oh no! Bartolot and Babert get into it coming through the first chicane. A little bit of side-by-side contact. Both able to continue. Let's look at that replay. Delart was being overtaken by Rodriguez. That set him on the back foot just a little bit, smelling an opportunity. Babert tried to stick his nose in, but it did not pay off. Now down to 6 minutes to go left on this clock. 3 hours of racing here at Monza. And I'll tell you what, guys, this first round has been fascinating. I've been glad to see as clean a racing as we've gotten. And what do we always say about you never know what's going to be happening? Well, right now, David Williams working his way through lap traffic that are fighting for position. He gets by Ludwig Guidi without much trouble. Now he's going to go by Alessandro Bacilega. All right, 4th place, side by side. Lohner He's got Manea to the inside. Strong brakes of that BMW showing itself down into the first chicane. He's going to have to get past him completely. He does not. They bang doors coming out of the second apex. And it looks like Lohner's going to be able to defend from the outside. Incredible.
I think this is going to be a matter of timing. Whoever has the last run into that first chicane before who can do it on the white flag lap is going to get that position.
Yep. We talked about that a couple laps ago.
Well, we saw Manea wasn't able to execute it this time, so even if you get a run, there's no guarantees.
No, Lohner made the pass. Manea was ahead, so the pass was made on the outside. Yeah.
Which makes it all the more impressive.
So now all Manea likes to do is this. He gets a pretty good run through Ascari because it's twisty. He holds his own down into Parabolica, gets a good run out of Parabolica, then gets in the draft, and then does the outbraking. Now we'll see if Lohner takes the defensive line into that first chicane.
He's just kind of hovering about mid-track right now, coming down into Parabolica, so he obviously feels under threat.
This is where the crew chief could be helping to saying, okay, we don't need to do it this lap. Now he gets in the tow, and he gets close enough, then he just ducks to the inside and lets the BMW do the work for him.
There he goes.
BMW to the inside. Lohner does not defend, stays to the outside. He managed to make the pass around the outside before. Can he do it a second time? No, look at that. Manea sneaks back into fourth position. And while these guys are fighting that final podium spot, Moreno streaking away has a whole 3.5 seconds.
Top 3 spots look pretty safe unless disaster strikes one of them.
Guys, Jim Racing Yellow still looking to maybe get another spot back here. Sergio Lorenz is still digging. He's caught in the middle of this battle between Juan Segura and I'm sorry, Shania Majimi right now. I can't believe I forgot Majimi there. But like I said, he's still digging for a spot.
Oh, but I think he cut the course. He's slowing.
I think so. Yeah, he's slowing down. I cursed him, guys. At the commentators cursed there on him.
And I wonder if that interrupted that battle for 26 there, because Majimi had a good run on Cigar, but with him having to work by the slowed Lorenz, it seemed like he may have backed out of it.
There are battles all over. There's a battle for 7th right now that is intense. There's a battle for 9th. We don't need split screens. We need quad screens.
All right, I think we've got this lap and one more to go because 2.5 left, and David Williams currently heading around the Curva Grande.
It all comes down to this. You put in all the work, all the prep, and you stayed on strategy all day. Can you pull off one last move to gain one more spot?
Can you withstand the pressure?
Let's go to 9th position right now. Here comes Lot, going to make a move. No, sorry, that's Burbet going to make the move. Gets it done inside a Lot.
Robert has not had what I would say is the greatest of races, had a few dramas here and there. However, they started this race in 6th, Team GTNF, and they are down to 10th, so a loss of positions. And we're seeing that Jean Duval is currently not... He's mainly disconnected. He's gone.
Yeah, he's left the... server. It says manually disconnected.
We're going to check the replay here, see what happened. Did he hit anything? Did he hit the incident limit? What happened here? Well, goes a little bit off. Oh, that is definitely an incident limit. And with one more lap to go, that has got to be gutting. Knowing that it could try and salvage something of a finish today, and that's going to send him farther down the points. But the white flag is out for David Williams. Our leader has one lap left to go.
Let's go to second position because now it's time to make the pass. Look at the BMW taking the defensive line here into the Scari. Sorry.
This is for fourth position, actually.
Sorry.
He's got the inside. They're going to go side by side through there. A little bit of a better launch for Manea. He's going to have the inside very close to each other before they get to the curve of Gronda. He's going to be able to come up on him a little bit more. He's got the shorter line through this long curve. Still side by side down to Della Rosia. Loader to the inside now as they come to the Della Rosia chicane. They've got battling cars behind them trying to watch out for things. Very hot end there for Loader. Can he make it stick? He does. Beautiful job by the Audi. Manea now has to try and Manea has a cut course. He has to slow. That's going to seal the deal for Loader for fourth place.
Wow.
And that gets settled as our leader now heads into Parabolica.
One final corner for David Williams. He took the car away from Michel de Jong, handed him a beautiful machine. The Audi didn't have a scratch on it. And as it comes to the line, he's going to win today at Monza for round one of the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series.
And David Alexis Jordan coming through Parabolica now, Joe.
Amazing job by these guys for Dark Antigo from fourth to second. Even more amazing from 20th to third. Julian Rodriguez Moreno for Iberica. Wow, that is a drive of the race for me. Onto the podium from 20th. Manea in fourth, Loader in fifth. Wait a minute, didn't Manea have a slowdown before?
Yeah, he didn't. He had the slowdown, but you know, another guy came, Hussenfeld Core Motorsports, Joe. You know, they started 25th and take a fourth place. So a couple of teams really doing some hard work to get to the front of the field today.
Pardon me, I called that wrong. Fourth for Hussenfeld, fifth for Radicals. My timing and scoring gets a little screwy sometimes at the line. Curb Surfers did come home in seventh. Odox Motorsports in eighth. GTNF a lowly ninth after starting in sixth position, not what they wanted. Rounding out the top 10, Suderia, Leon, Orange. And in fact, how many drivers did we have on the lead lap here? I see Jim Racing Black, our last drivers on the lead lap. Might be Stefan Jan, actually, Team RSO.
Yeah, Team RSO still on the track. And they're now across.
With that, after 3 hours of racing here at Monza, we're going to step away for just a moment, but don't go away. We'll have the unofficial results as well as driver interviews. And on screen, we'll have all the upcoming races here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Welcome back to Autodromo Nacional Monza, where we just watched round 1 of the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series. These are the qualifiers for the 2017 season of the GT Championship. In the end today, it was VRS Coanda SimSport who took the win here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Dark Contigo Racing Team took a nice run to second place, and then Iberica Racing BenQ. Boy, they impressed all of us with a run from 20th to 3rd, and even more so, Husingfeld Core Motorsports took a run from 25th to 4th place, even more of a gain in positions. Radical's Online Steel Series managed to finish 5th with Jim Racing Yellow, coming home in 6th position. Curb Surfers, not the day they wanted, I'm sure, coming home in 7th after starting on the front row. Odox Motorsports Samsung number 30, they finished the race in 8th with Team GTNF behind them in P9. Rounding out the top 10, it was Scuderia Leon Orange that started in 13th, gained 3 positions, and then finished with a nice 10th place. Bill?
11th position, it's MSP Drivers Home 1. G-Tross SST Orange going to come in the dozen position. Baker's Dozen goes to Glacier Racing. That's BS number 3 team. Scuderia Leon Black in 14th position. Right behind them, ERA Logitech G. That's the car number 726. Team, we got to get to the marketing people on this one. Team RSOBGT LMNOP. In 16th position on this one, Vec Blancpain Racing Team. Going to follow up in 17th, 18th, and 19th goes to JIM Racing Black and Radical Online Pirates. And then rounding out the top 20, Sean, is BND Racing.
Okay, let's get to 21st. That's going to be Virtual Drivers BGT Racing. Their 21st spot today, Iberica Racing Custom. Let's see, that's 22nd. Now, guys, they started 16 spots back. That's actually a pretty good day for that team. Dream Factory going to finish 23rd today. Trinity Motorsports Blue is 24th. Euphoria Racing Green 25th. Shania Machimi Sim Racing Yellow 26th. SRB Racing A 27th. Motor Breath Endurance 28th. Probably Metallica fans, I'm guessing. 29th, SRB Racing B. And 30th, going to go to BEL-NL Force. Probably don't need to say the dash, though, I think.
Yeah, I don't think so. Hellenic Racing comes home in 31st. Gecko Vortex Green were 32nd. BSRJ Blanco Team Black. And I'm pretty sure that Blanco means white, so they are the black and white team, I guess. 33rd for them. Team RSO BGT 2 and 34th with Orion Racing Team number 3 in 35th. Chrono Sim Racers Driving Throne 36th, and sad day for them. They were so close to try and at least bring it home for some points and slipped down the order after they fell afoul of the incident limit. Champs iRacing Asdent.es in 37th, Kronos International Team in 38th, Trinity Motorsports Green in 39th, and then in 40th, Bill, it's Apex Racing TV.
Now, you want some good names? Here they come. Listen to these next team. 41st position, Vendaval Sim Racing White, followed by Friction Racing. That's the 911 team. Trident Racing, Fox BR Motorsports, Alpine Eagle Racing, Orion Race Team number 2, ERAMP MS725. Didn't like that one so much. Apex Racing Simulator. That's a good one. iRacing Brazil GT3. And then 50th position, Sim Arcordic Crimson. There you have it.
I believe that's .de, which is the German domain name there. So we need to teach. Yeah,
Super's having too much fun with that.
Yeah,
I had some good ones back there. Okay, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. And that is our field. Unfortunately, we didn't get any interviewees today. Everybody's off celebrating or licking their wounds. But next race, if you would like a post-race interview, definitely come and check us out on our TeamSpeak here at the Global Sim Racing channel. We'd love to talk to you guys. Even during the race, if you want. We get enough free time that between battles, I think we can manage to get some interviews if you're a teammate to someone and want to come discuss how things are going out there on track. We'd love to hear from you. However, in the meantime, we are going to close up today. And of course, we want to give a huge thank you to the people at Blancpain for sponsoring the Blancpain Endurance Series here on iRacing. And of course, a big thanks to iRacing for giving us the opportunity to broadcast this series, and a special thank you to RaceSpot for also giving us the opportunity to be here today. Thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast. You can see those listed on your screen. Additional thanks to our musical contributors, Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can also find at the websites listed. Thanks to the team today, Bill, Sean, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel. We've even got a social media guy specifically for those. He loves to talk to people. Give him a ring, tell him what you thought of the race, and ask him some questions. He loves answering those. Next race, we're going to be at Silverstone, going from Italy to Britain. That'll be Sunday, November 20th, and that starts at noon Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series on your screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.